Welcome to SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Oh, let's go! I'm in the house, baby. I'm about to take this thing all the way down. I hope y'all paying attention. It's going down. It's going down.
Ready for game day, baby. They don't know what's about to hit them. Number one pick in the draft. Number one fantasy player at this table. Can't wait to see you out on the field there.
Oh, these belts are so heavy. It's, tough life winning all these fantasy football championships. Tyler, Field, Daniel, they just don't get it, but this is what it's like. This is what it's like living this life. We're going to win another one tonight.
People keep asking where the robe went. The robe doesn't leave the house. I also don't have belts. Don't need the belts. I know when I've won.
All right, a little closer, a little closer. Hey, we just want to make sure that, thank you. It doesn't, you don't want to get too hot. You don't want to get too, sweaty in the T-zone.
That's right, baby. Look at that number 0. Look how fast Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be wearing 0 this year in the all black. Come on. I got to channel my inner Detroit Lions.
Ooh. Oh, look at that. Nearly 1.3 million teams drafted, and millions of people have already signed up to play fantasy football on ESPN this year. Do us a favor and join the party as we say hello and welcome into our SportsCenter Special, the fantasy draft presented by the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. I am Field Yates. This is our crew of incredible drafters. We're going to have a ton of fun over the next 3 hours conducting our 10th, that's right, 10th annual fantasy football mock draft. Most of you probably know how it works, but for those of you that are wondering aloud, how exactly are things going to shake out for the next 3 or so hours? Let's give you the skinny on what is ahead during this draft. There are a total of 10 teams, this table of drafters right there. Our standard scoring at ESPN is PPR scoring. Every time you catch a pass, you get an extra point. From rounds 1 through 5, you get 1 minute between picks, and then we speed things up in rounds 6 and beyond, 45 seconds between picks. Now, I'm supposed to tell you that the draft order was randomly determined. That is probably sort of true, but there may or may not have been a 4-year-old who's the daughter of one of our producers of the show who was the one actually pulling the names out of a hat, and I don't know whether she was up to anything funny, but I do know this. The number 1 pick in the draft was awarded last night. Take a listen to who it was. That, of course, means that Dan Graziano is picking number 1 overall tomorrow night. Graz, how are you feeling about winning this first overall pick?
You're not getting Jamar Chase is all I'm saying. I turned this show on about a half hour ago, and you guys were talking about Cowboys running backs, so I assumed it was like a 24-team league. So I got to go back and redo all my mock drafts now, knowing that it's a smaller league size.
And there you have it. That's right. Dan Graziano is going to pick first, which means he's going to have a long wait between rounds 1 and 2. He is followed up by Mike Clay right after that, Tyler Fulghum. That makes for some good drama right there. Daniel Dopp, Liz Loza, and then 6 through 10 are as follows. Stephania Bell, Damien Woody, Eric Moody, Anita Marks, and Adam Schefter. It is a snake draft to reiterate, so Schefter may have to wait until pick number 10, and he is right back on the clock at pick number 11. And you've already seen the drafters. Let's get to the drafting. With the first pick, Dan Graziano is officially on the clock.
I mean, I announced it last night. I don't know whether I was supposed to or not. Anita brought a shirt, hoping she would get him, I guess. But no, it's going to be Jamar Chase. Jamar Chase is the pick, number 1 overall.
Because he's always open.
Because he's always open. He's got his best friend plays quarterback. He gets better every year. No contract drama this year. And frankly, I did do a bunch of mocks. I like who my RB1 is if I go receiver early, better than I like who my wide receiver one is if I go running back early. So we'll see.
So some consideration to Bijan Robinson, but not a ton.
Bijan, Saquon, Gibbs. I mean, but I just felt like receiver was the way to go, and I think there's a clear number one at that position.
Okay, so Dan Graziano, to no one's surprise, takes Jamar Chase. By the way, that's the only Dan side of the table over there. With pick number 2 is Mike Clay on the clock for the first time.
Yeah, I don't know if the Dans together was randomized. This doesn't feel randomized either. Not too happy about this at all. You made my pick for me because it's Jamar Chase or it's Bijan Robinson. I'm going to take Bijan Robinson here with the second pick. The number 1 running back in fantasy as far as I'm concerned. I don't think it's close, frankly. I think he's a pretty safe play after what we saw last season. Obviously, he's very young, going into year number 3 in the NFL. And it wasn't Saquon Barkley who was the number 1 running back in fantasy last year. From week 6 on, it was Bijan Robinson when they finally gave him complete control of that backfield. It had at least 18 touches in all but one game. That was a blowout over Carolina. This is the guy in fantasy football right now. I'm glad to get him here.
Okay, so pick number 2, made by Mike Clay. Pick number 3 is being made by, I think, Tyler Fulghum, or whoever that is, sitting next to Mike Clay.
Diva wide receiver.
Wow.
The pick is in, Commissioner Yates.
Okay.
I need you to read that for me.
Just make your pick, man. Come on.
With the 3rd pick in the 2025 ESPN Fantasy Football Marathon Mock Draft, Tyler Fulghum, a.k.a. Diva wide receiver, selects Jahmyr Gibbs, running back.
Give me that jersey. Give me that jersey.
Oh, I'm so mad at you right now.
Give me that jersey.
Oh, I'm so upset.
I'll take a shirt, too. I'm getting all kinds of
Wait,
wardrobe
I
over
want to
here.
make sure that only one shirt comes off. I'm not ready for more.
Hey, do you want to tell the world why I picked Jahmyr Gibbs since he's your favorite player?
Because he looks super fast in zeros. That's why.
Really? Because you didn't pick him to win Offensive Player of the Year.
You're right.
About
Earlier
30
I did
minutes
not.
ago on Bet.
I'm so frustrated with you, Tyler. I came in here wearing that jersey. I love Jahmyr Gibbs.
Yeah, so
you
do I.
only like him for your fantasy squad. I just want you to know, I hope Nana is disappointed in you that you're
Nana
so
would never be
disrespectful.
disappointed.
I need to do one thing, though, before we go any further. America needs to see this. Tyler is not only wearing gloves and sunglasses. Can we get a full body shot here? Not normally something I ask for on national TV.
I got cleats. I'm ready,
Spikes.
baby. I'm ready.
Why do you own these?
Why?
Yeah.
Because I used to play softball back in the day, and I wanted to be fast. Don't ask me to run a 40 in here. We'll bring the ambulance.
Oh, man. All right, Daniel, I'm sorry, I guess, but you're also on the clock. So you have the 4th pick.
Yeah, that's frustrating. I definitely was going to take.
Did you really think that he was going to make it to 4?
I didn't, but I wanted to wear the jersey with the hopes that maybe the vibes would make it happen. You know what I mean?
This is why no one likes him, right?
I
tried to warn you.
I
tried
get
to
it
warn
now.
you, Daniel.
I get it. I'll say this.
It's rude.
If I can't get Jahmyr Gibbs, then I'm going to take the other best wide receiver in football, someone who I believe is absolutely quarterback agnostic. And for me, that's Justin Jefferson. The dude is unreal. 5 top 10 finishes over this. I mean, 4 top 10 finishes over his first 5 years. The dude is just legit. Doesn't make a difference who's throwing him the football.
You know when you go out to dinner, Daniel, and everybody gets their food and then no one talks? It's like that's acknowledgement that it's a good meal.
Yeah.
You were like, I'm taking Justin Jefferson, and no one chimed in.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, yeah, it makes sense.
Yep.
He's awesome.
I'll say something. Like,
Please.
We've never seen Justin J.J. McCarthy throw a pass in the NFL regular season. Really? Like, there's no
him win a national
concern.
title.
I want to know who that source is. Yeah.
Justin
no
Jefferson is the
concern.
most quarterback agnostic wide receiver in the NFL. He caught passes from Sam Darnold, who was left for dead by the entirety of the rest of the NFL last year, and he finished as wide receiver.
He
for him.
averaged
Josh
over 100
Dobbs.
yards per game with Nick Mullins under
Nick
center.
Mullins.
I'm not worried about
There's
JJ.
one team in the NFL that has thrown at least 30 touchdown passes each of the last 3 years, and it's that team with about 5 or 6.
Kevin O'Connell. That's right.
Graz, welcome to join the Fantasy
I'm the
Focus Monday
only
through
one
Friday.
who's concerned about J.J.
You got my
McCarthy
number.
this year. I'm the only one at this table.
Yes,
We'll
you
talk
are.
through this a lot more throughout the
think so.
evening.
No concern.
Really?
Liz Loza
Apparently.
is on the clock here for her first pick, and right in the middle of the order, who are you taking?
Yeah, this is not a difficult choice for me. I'm actually glad that I got to pick 5th so that I could. I don't like it when analysts have like these hot takes and then when it gets to mock drafting, their takes don't reflect their rankings. I'm the only one who's not coward enough to rank Ashton Genty as my RB3. So give me the freshest legs with the largest projected volume of any running back available in the first round.
Anita is just
And
apoplectic
you were
right now.
And you were worried about me doing that.
A nice bottle of a Coke later.
Hold on, I just want to point out that Liz Loza took Ashton Genty ahead of Saquon Barkley, ahead of Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Interesting.
How about this,
pick.
though?
I like running backs that aren't washed.
Whoa! Excuse me?
Wow.
Wow.
Whoa! Mike,
Everybody a little sweaty after that one.
Mike had a comment on the matter.
This side of the table would like a
That
word.
hurts me. I infamously don't like older running backs, and that still hurts. Like Saquon after last year and McCaffrey coming back. I mean, there's a lot.
I know.
I will say this. Can I say something?
484 total touches, including the postseason.
You're right. Can I say this, though, in your defense?
Yeah.
The last 8 running backs picked in the top 12 as rookies were top 10 fantasy running backs. 8 in a row.
But
that
were
picked
they
in the
top
top 12
3?
or top 10.
Yeah.
That's the question.
If he's top 10, you're going to be fine. I mean, you'll be fine if he finishes RB9. It'll pay
Also,
off.
I mean, Saquon Barkley, as a rookie attached to a questionable Giants offense, was the RB1 overall back in 2018.
Highest
So there
scoring
is
rookie in
precedent.
fantasy football history, as a matter of fact, was Saquon Barkley back in 2018. Stephania Bell on the clock, and Christian McCaffrey sitting there waiting for you.
There's a lot of drama in this pick, is there not? You guys all know where I'm going. I put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to take Christian McCaffrey, and I am actually thrilled that he landed here because I thought, Daniel, with all the love you were showing to Christian McCaffrey on the podcast, that you might take him when Jahmyr Gibbs was gone. But no, you did not.
I decided to hold off, and I think I'll address the running back position in the next coming rounds. But when you can get a wide receiver as good as Justin Jefferson, you're not going to go wrong with either one of these picks, right? They're both superstars.
I keep bragging on the number of receptions that you have projected for CMC. And then I remind people that there's a lot of other people who are banged up for the 49ers who also catch passes.
Might be more than that.
He might end up with more than that.
It's crazy to me that. Would anyone here be shocked if CMC is the #1 overall fantasy player?
No.
I
not
would.
at all.
We are 7 players into this draft, and I think we have 7 players who could be feasibly, realistically, the #1
And
overall
someone
player.
very notable has not gone yet.
This is a deep draft.
Damien Woody on the clock here with the 7th pick. Who you taking? There is a totally unexpected Saquon Barkley still available for you.
I'm feeling so cool right now because this pick is so easy for me. I'm going Saquon Barkley right now. And listen, I get it. I understand that the year that Saquon Barkley had last year was unprecedented. Big time player. I think it's going to be more the same. I think so. He's not going to rush for 2,000. But that's apropos right there.
That must mean that was Moody's
But no, he's still running behind the best offensive line in football, and I'm going Saquon.
Big Papa Moody on the clock here at number 8 for your first pick.
Shouldn't it play now?
Yeah.
All right, so Team Moody selects CD Lamb.
Stays home. You're a Texas kid. And
So
CD
you
Lamb
live in Texas.
At the
Jerry World's nearby. You can't go wrong with CD Lamb. All the rapport that he has with Dak Prescott. Should be a ton of targets. Not too worried about George Pickens. Both of those wide receivers can coexist, so this will be a good start to the fantasy team.
Easy to envision a scenario in which CeeDee Lamb is the highest scoring wide receiver in all fantasy football this year. It's been a mere, 2 seasons?
We've seen it before,
exactly that. Yep. Anita Marks, you were on the clock at pick number 9. It sounds like you were thinking Ashton Genty might have been there for you.
Yeah, because I was stuck in my hotel room all day, and I had like 20-something drafts, and every on ESPN mock draft, which I recommend you do. And every single one of them, I got Genty. That's why I was like, dude, you got to leave Genty to me. This is what I'm prepared for. But this is what's happened. I got to go Amon-Ra St. Brown. Like right now, how can you not? Their offense is explosive. They play in Detroit. They've got a controlled environment. He's an absolute stud. So that's what I'm rolling with.
Yeah.
Okay, there you have it. Amon-Ra St. Brown comes off the board at pick number 9. Just a few spots lower than where he was last year. He still had great raw numbers last season. A little more up and down compared to that usual Mr. Consistency you typically get from Amon-Ra. And that means our final pick of the first round comes down to the man who actually knew the draft order 3 weeks ago. It's Adam Schefter. What are the sources doing?
I will say that there were sources who told me that Puka and Malik Neighbors would be the top 2 players on the board at this point in the draft. And so off the top, we will take at number 10. Did I do something?
Oh, no,
Give it away beyond that. You're good.
Yeah.
We'll take
You can just announce it.
Malik Neighbors.
Okay. Malik Neighbors, by the way, Shefty, bite your tongue on pick number 11. We'll get back to the next segment. But Malik Neighbors, talk us through this pick at number 10.
Listen, his target share last year was off the charts. He is the most talented player on their roster. He is somebody that I think can have a huge target share again, a huge role, huge numbers. field. I drafted him last year in the War Room.
Yeah, it was a brilliant
I
pick.
was a satisfied customer.
Yeah.
I'm back for more.
I think he's one of the great values in fantasy football, which sounds wild when the guy's going in the back end of the first round. But I said this about CeeDee Lamb at pick 8. He could be wide receiver 1. So could Malik Neighbors. You're getting basically a full round discount compared to Jamar Chase, which is to take nothing away whatsoever from Jamar Chase. Just remind you of how good Malik Neighbors can be. Look at how many people have already signed up and how many teams have already been drafted here on ESPN Fantasy. 1.294 million and counting. Let's get that number to well north of 1.5 million by the time it is all said and done. But do not go anywhere because our mock draft is just one round in. We have plenty more to come. And Schefter is back on the clock when we return here on our SportsCenter special.
SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft is presented by ESPN Bet, the sportsbook for sports fans. And in part by DQ, happy tastes good. And Iberogast, 6 digestive symptoms, the power of nature. Iberogast.
All right, what's up, guys? This first question I got comes from Jess Dabbs. Says, so I got the number 1 pick in one league I'm in, and am I crazy for drafting Bijan over Chase? Absolutely not crazy. Either one of these guys can go 101. There is no problem being able to grab either one of these dudes. If you want to go running back at the top, grab Bijan because he's going to be the guy there. He's going to be unbelievable so far this year. If you want to go wide receiver and wait in the running back spot, Jamar Chase is where it's at. There is no wrong answer at 1.01. It's whatever your conviction is. All right, let's do the next one here. This one comes from Alexander. Says, which is a bigger risk in round 1, CMC's health or Saquon's decline? That is a fantastic question. I have been notably more out than in on Saquon Barkley, just given that workload that he has had. It's definitely one of those things that if I'm looking at Saquon, I recognize there's going to be some regression here, right? We're in a spot where you're not going to be in the same situation that you were in last year. He's not going to have 2,300 yards again. He played 20 games last year. He touched the ball more than almost any other running back over the last 25 years. I get it. CMC's health is a concern, but we've watched Christian McCaffrey get hurt and then rehab and come back and be one of, if not the best running back in fantasy football. So I'm banking on him there. All right, Samuel, this one comes from you at NFL on ESPN. Hawkinson or Laporta this year for the middle rounds? I like both of these tight ends for what it's worth, but I'm going to go with Sam Laporta. In this Lions offense, he started slow last year, definitely wasn't fully healthy. Came on towards the end of the season, and the Lions are going to continue to throw this year. It's a part of their DNA. I know they run the ball a lot, but they have one of the best scoring offenses in the NFL. Sam Laporta locked in as a tier 1 tight end for your fantasy squad. But you can't go wrong if you want to wait and grab TJ Hawkinson a little bit later in the draft. Thanks, guys.
Welcome back to SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Just moments away from round 2 kicking off here of our mock draft. Let's take a look back at round number 1. No surprise at the top, Jamar Chase Bijan Robinson, Jahmyr Gibbs, Justin Jefferson. Perhaps the first curveball of the night. Liz Loza grabbing Ashton Genty, 5th overall. Christian McCaffrey goes ahead of Saquon Barkley, who ends up going 7th off the board. And then 3 receivers, CeeDee Lamb, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and Malik Neighbors, finish up the round, which means 5 running backs, 5 wide receivers in round 1. Adam Schefter concluded round 1 with Malik Neighbors. Shefty, right back on the clock. You had previously suggested Puka Nacua could be the pick. You got a minute to decide.
Yeah, I changed my mind.
Spicy.
Audible.
And I figure in a 10-team league where there are a lot of wide receivers, I'm going to be able to find wide receiver help everywhere.
I know what you're doing.
So instead, I'm going to go back to a guy that I also took last year, along with Malik Neighbors, and that was Brock Bowers.
Wow. Positional edge, right, Shefty?
What's that?
The positional edge you're gaining right now.
Wow.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. And I got a T-shirt as an edge, too.
There you go. So who here had the Raiders as the second team to have 2 players taken in the fantasy draft? The Lions were first.
Not me, but can't go wrong with Brock Bowers.
Who last season had the most catches of any tight end, not just amongst 2024 tight ends, but amongst rookie tight ends, all tight ends in NFL history, except for Zach Ertz, who had 116 one year. The guy was amazing. From Shefty, we go back to Anita Marks. Anita is not wearing a, who was your first round pick again?
My first round pick was Amon-Ra St. Brown.
But no Amon-Ra shirt yet.
No.
Okay.
But like I've got Derrick Henry sitting here. Oh.
Yeah, but how many T-shirts do you own?
You don't even want to know.
I kind of do.
No, you really don't.
500?
You really, I have like an entire room.
I thought you were going to say warehouse.
I've got Nico Collins. I might have to request the help of one Mike Clay here.
Excuse me?
How you feeling?
First time for everything, yeah.
Whoa.
A few things like
Be careful.
Okay, I would suggest.
I'm on the fence here with Nico Collins. I'm on the fence with Derrick Henry. I know you got Jonathan Taylor listed above Derrick Henry this year.
You got 10
I feel
seconds.
I've got 10 seconds. Who should I pick?
You're Puka Nacua. I mean, you're listing a lot of good guys.
I'm not going with Puka. I'm worried about
You want a running back?
Eric Moody can
You have to
in
pick one of
3,
those guys.
2,
Taylor.
1.
Jonathan Taylor.
Okay, Jonathan Taylor. Wow, Mike Clay on behalf of Anita Marks.
We almost had a Vikings situation there.
Do I get Taylor now? I don't. How does this work?
Jonathan,
Do I get half his points?
I think Jonathan Taylor wants Daniel Jones to start this year.
So do I.
Anthony Richardson. That would be bad things for Jonathan Taylor's passing game work, right? I see Eric Moody shaking his head. You called him the potential Saquon Barkley of 2025.
I'm in pain.
Oh.
I'm in pain like Jasper
Why? Because
from
did I
Twilight.
steal him from you? Is that why? You wanted him?
You did.
Okay. Let me ask you, do you believe Daniel Jones is going to start this year over Anthony Richardson?
I would prefer Daniel.
Twilight.
I would prefer,
This is why I like you.
I know.
I don't know, Jeff.
I know.
But do you like her because she just took the guy you were going to take?
Well, for that reason, I do not. But, as I always say, Field, I've got a contingency plan. We'll just have to wait to see what it is.
Well, you're on the clock.
Oh, I am. My mood so much at that pick. Okay, I'm going to put it out there. All right, so Derrick Henry, Team Moody selection.
All right.
Okay, hold on.
So I did talk about Derrick Henry last night, of course.
I
He
think
averaged, 20 touches and 20 fantasy points per game last year. Finishes the RB4. Got to love that Ravens offensive line. So, you did take my Jonathan Taylor, so I'll go with Derrick Henry.
Actually, Mike
I'll do my
Clay.
best to get my composure.
I know you were doing.
For future picks, but hey, I don't get Taylor, but Derrick Henry's a great consolation.
I have a question for you. Have you been disarmed by Tyler and his swag? Is it the sunglasses? Is it the fresh haircut, the gloves?
Yeah,
jersey?
Tyler Fulghum doesn't have any effect on me.
Oh,
wow. I like it. Everyone's turning on Tyler, finally.
I know. I'm like, I see him walking in with this, and I'm just like, I'm looking at him as like a mark, for this fantasy football draft. I'm just like, look at this guy.
Man.
Okay.
I remember that. I'm going to route you up out there in the fourth quarter.
He's going to route you up.
We'll see about that. We'll see
D.
about
Woody
that.
back on the clock here after grabbing Saquon Barkley and an excellent value, pick number 7 in round 1.
Yeah, so, you're from Texas. You live in Texas.
I do live in Texas.
So I'm going to be I'm going to Texas.
Okay.
To the Houston Texans.
All right.
Nico Collins.
What I'm hearing here.
Yeah, Nico Collins.
That's a good pick.
Yep.
28.5% target share last year for Nico Collins. There are more pieces in that wide receiver core this year, but D. Wood, clearly the man for C.J. Stroud.
Absolutely. We know, question marks in the backfield. Nico Collins is the guy in that Houston Texans offense. So I think C.J. Stroud and Nico Collins will hook up a lot of times this year.
Okay, so Stephania Bell still on the board here, I should say, and still available to pick.
Haven't been voted off yet.
That happens in round 5. We start voting people.
Is this
Mike will
Fantasy
be first.
Football Island? That could be fun.
Puka Nacua still sitting there, pick number 15.
I know.
Not something I often see.
Listen, I feel like this is the night that everything that I've spoken about, I'm going to have to prove that I'm confident in it. And I told you,
I wouldn't do that.
Put your money where your mouth
You
is,
said Stafford.
Stephania.
You're not worried about
do it.
Stafford.
Let him go.
I want him. I'm trying to get.
Why don't you let him go another couple picks?
You know,
he's not getting
do
it.
I get a better grade?
Yes.
If I skip?
Yes.
Oh, okay. No, I'm going to go with Puka Nacua because I think he is quarterback. Look, you guys act like Jimmy G didn't lead the 49ers to a Super Bowl.
Oh.
You know, I mean, if Jimmy G has to be the starter for the Rams, other than the week 5 and week 10, I think when they play the 49ers, the Rams are going to do great.
When was the last time we saw Jimmy G
is the
throw a
word you
pass
wanna go
in the
with?
regular season?
Week 18 last year.
Listen, when you go to the Super Bowl, yes. And here's the point, though. All he needs to do is be able to execute the offense. He needs to be able to distribute the ball. He's good at that. You can't. Dan.
What?
Stop making faces over there.
I mean, he was good at it until he wasn't.
I'm doing my Devontae Adams impression.
Yes, thank you.
Talking about Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yes.
So I was at practice last week, and Devontae Adams caught a touchdown pass from Jimmy G. Looked just fine to me. So did Puka Nacua. Have the pics on my phone if you'd like to see him.
Jimmy G, great when he had Kyle Shanahan. Now he's got Sean McVay.
And by the way, I'm saying that, and I'm not in panic mode about Matthew Stafford. I understand. I will say this again. I do believe that Sean McVay is someone that I love because he's very transparent about what's happening with the team. He's always filling you in. Not practicing today. We hope practices tomorrow. This is what we think. And then what happens is sometimes things don't fully go according to plan. Exhibit A this week, and then people are asking questions. He's like, we're just taking it one day at a time, and everybody goes, now it's one day at a time. It's like, no, he's just tired of answering the questions. I'm not worried. I'm not worried about Matthew Stafford.
They don't want to get caught.
Exactly. Exactly.
There's a method to their madness.
Keep
Loza
being
back on the
you,
clock.
Sean McVay.
Yeah.
You can thank Sean McVay all you like. He's a wonderful gentleman. One of his acolytes is now, do you know that?
That's a good word.
Okay, thank you.
Acolytes.
One of his acolytes.
Agnostic, anything else so far tonight?
Oh, you don't even know the word you was on bed earlier tonight.
Metamorphizing. But one of his acolytes is now in Atlanta. And I like what he's done with the Falcons offense, particularly
Kyle
when
Pitts
using.
in round 2, huh?
You know, it's a thought, but I really like the contested catch abilities of one Drake London, and I think he'd be a wonderful wide receiver. One for my squad. I don't mind another 1,200 receiving yards and like 8 touchdowns in 2025.
There you have it. Drake London, who in 3 starts with Michael Penix Jr. last year, had 39 targets. How about that? Including one game with 18 targets. Seems that there's a chemistry so far between those two in what will be the second season for Penix under center in Atlanta. Daniel Dopp, you were heartbroken last time after Tyler so rudely took Jahmyr Gibbs away from you.
And took your jersey.
It was really disrespectful is what it felt like. I felt like I was slapped on the face on national television in spite of the fact that I'm clearly the Jahmyr Gibbs guy at the table. And I have his magazine in front of me even. However, there's another running back on the clock that's also pretty quick and shifty for what it's worth. And that guy's name is Devine Achane. And I'm going to go there for my next running back. I have to believe that this is a guy, when you look at what he did last year, obviously, he added a whole nother element in the pass-catching version of his game, right? Number 5 overall from a PPR perspective. And I think this dude, regardless of what the offense is going to look like, he's got a role, whether it's through the air or on the ground. So Devon Achane is going to be my guy.
Okay, there you have it. Devon Achane, who, of course, as Daniel noted, had a massive receiving season last year. Tyler Fulghum, who, did you have Devon Achane on your radar?
I did have him on my radar. Nana was happy. I'll think about it. All right. Nana was happy with his performance last year, so she's rooting for you this year. I do want to go elite tight end, and I was hoping Schefty's pick would fall to me, but I'm happy to take Trey McBride. I'll take Trey McBride, who, according to these hodgepodge projections, is 1 point less.
They were perfect to me.
1 point less than Brock Bowers. So I'll take that, and what I'll also convince myself gives me an edge in weeks 16 and 17, potentially your fantasy playoffs. The Cardinals play the Falcons and the Bengals. What do we think of those defenses coming into this season?
Not a whole lot.
Exactly. So McBride could be in for huge games at the most opportune time for your team in the playoffs when you need it. He could go nuts in week 16 and 17.
Now, if he can find the end zone this year, it'd be great.
Gosh.
Yep.
He's got to score. He's got to score at least 2, right?
Can you take off your
Just one?
sunglasses? Because I'd like to see your eyes.
Oh.
Oh, gosh.
It's a diva wide receiver.
Diva wide
Mike Clay back on the board. You are on the clock with number
poker.
19
I hope you won it,
overall,
Trey.
Mike.
I hope you won it, Trey.
I mean, I do like getting one of the top tight ends if I can in fantasy drafts this season, especially in 12-teamers, but I'm okay with Brian Thomas Jr., who was the number 4 scoring fantasy receiver last year. I know we really picked it up with Mac Jones down the stretch, but Liam Cohen's Buccaneers were pretty darn good to the wide receiver position last year, and now he goes down to Jacksonville. So I'm happy to get Thomas here coming back on the other side of round 2 to go with John Robinson, who, I have the magazine too here, Daniel. I got the other.
Wow.
I didn't even realize that. A little foreshadowing there.
Brian Thomas
I'm
Jr.,
good.
who had 6
Like that
straight
1-2 punch.
games with 10 or more targets at the end of last season.
right.
And, of course, Travis Hunter there, but we'll see whether that has any impact whatsoever on Brian Thomas Jr. Graz, your patience paid off as you are back on the clock for your first of 2 picks in a row.
And my guy, Bucky Irving, who also had a big year in Liam Cohen's Buccaneers offense last year. We talked about him last night on Only Dan's.
We did.
A special late night episode. Bucky Irving's a pick here. I got him as an RB1. This is why I go Jamar Chase when I have the first pick, because I'd much rather have Bucky Irving as my number 1 running back than T. Higgins or Ladd McConkey as my number 1 wide receiver. No offense to those guys, but it doesn't feel like number 1 wide receiver to me. So I got the running back that I love, and I'm very happy with my first 2 picks.
Okay, there you have it. Dan Graziano now has he has a running back and a wide receiver, I should say. 2 picks under the belt. I'm looking for the tote board somewhere right now. I am being told that we have had many more teams drafted, and millions of people have already signed up to play on ESPN Fantasy. Nearly 1.31 drafted teams. There we go. We have crossed that threshold, and we have so much more to go. Graz back on the clock when round 3 begins. Do not go anywhere as part of this SportsCenter special. It's our fantasy draft, thanks to our friends over at ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Okay, so we got the first question here from Respect707X. Is going elite wide receiver then 2 running backs a good strategy the past few years? I went with running back. I went with our RB the first 2 rounds. Just kind of trying to get the language on that one. I'll say it again. So is going elite wide receiver then 2 running backs a good strategy the past few years? I went with running back first 2 rounds. So I would say starting off with wide receiver is really, really important in round 1. You want to get a player that's going to get a ton of targets. So ideally, you're going to look at guys in the first round that are going to give you 140 or more targets. I would address the running back position in those next couple of rounds because it thins out very, very quickly. So here's what I would do. Wide receiver round 1, don't enter round 6 without at least 2 running backs. All right, so we got question 2 from K-Mac. Should I be concerned if Omarion Hampton was drafted as my RB1? And so I wouldn't be too concerned about this. I really like Hampton. I love the Los Angeles Chargers, love their offensive line, even though I know they're dealing kind of with some injuries there. But you got to love Greg Roman's offense. It is very run-heavy, and Hampton is projected for the most touches in the backfield. He's a typical 3-down back at the NFL level. He displayed those skills in college. I'm very comfortable with him if he's your RB1. All right, so we got Stephen Lech, A.J. Brown, or Drake London. You know what? I got to go with Drake London here. I know you look at A.J. Brown's statistical body of work. It's great. But London had a really good season, and I love the rapport that he has with Michael Penix Jr. So I'm excited to see this duo where they have a full offseason together under their belt. And so I think that Michael Penix Jr. can really open up the vertical passing game, for Drake London and this Atlanta Falcons team. So, all right, last one. We got Pedro Aguero. Is CD a good number 5 pick? I would say he is. You know, the targets will be there, even though he's competing with George Pickens for targets in Dallas. I think both players play really well with each other, and you got Dak Prescott's there, and he already has good rapport with CeeDee Lamb. And so I do see CeeDee Lamb as a high-end wide receiver 1. He's a good value. I just picked him up as my wide receiver 1 in this draft, and I'm very happy with that pick, and you should be as well.
Our only NFL preseason game happens in Week 2 and has the Bengals taking on the Commanders Monday, 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN and ESPN Deportes. Our coverage begins at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific with a special edition of Monday Night Countdown. We are back here in our mock draft. Look back at round 2 very quickly, but some of the notable players available, which includes Josh Jacobs and Chase Brown, 2 of the best running backs are still on the board. We are back to picks. Dan Graziano, you are on the clock. I am on the side of the only Dans now.
Those are good running backs. This is something I wouldn't do if I wasn't at the turn, but I'm going to pick Josh Allen to lead off the 3rd round because I really want one of these top 4 or 5 quarterbacks. Yep. And I don't know if they're going to come back to me. So Josh Allen's the pick here because I'm not picking again for a while. I might regret not taking Chase Brown or Josh Jacobs and beefing up at a running back, but I got my favorite quarterback.
You, Dan, stick together because I know that Daniel Dopp is thrilled that Chase Brown is still available.
I am, but I got a couple more picks that got to get to me, Field Yates.
Dang it. All right, well, Mike, don't do it then, you jerk.
Is this job?
Yeah.
That is job.
This is one of them times where I want to just pretend I'm taking someone, but I'm not going to do that because I can't pass on Josh Jacobs here. I have to take him. Tyler, you and I did some segments on EBL down the stretch last season. We were doing every single week, Sunday morning. We were doing these touchdown parlays, and every single week I was like, well, number 1's easy, Josh Jacobs, right? And what did he do? 8 straight games with a touchdown to finish the regular season last year. He was fantastic in his first year in Green Bay. Nothing's going to change this year. They're going to run the ball, especially as the temperatures drop. So give me Josh Jacobs to go with Bijan Robinson.
That's not the kind of thing that regresses to the mean, or is that articles?
It's a great question.
That's why you're the regression guy. That's why we bring you.
I read about it.
I'm not going to project him to. I'm not going to project touchdowns in 8 consecutive games, but will he score 12 touchdowns this year?
Does he catch the ball enough for you?
Yes. Yeah, he does. What do you have last year? 40 touchdowns?
Well, more importantly, he had a touchdown catch for the first time in his career.
That's right, he does.
It took Josh Jacobs until year 6 of his career to have 1 touchdown catch. He finally got it.
For the pack, too, guys like Marshawn Lloyd, who they may have drafted to be a complimentary piece, have had major injury issues, which means they just had to feed Josh Jacobs the rock, and that might continue this year.
I just think he gets serious. He's got the sunglasses on.
I know.
He's making a serious point. I didn't expect
the very disarming Tyler Fulghum is back on the clock here.
I'm going to adopt the strategy that Dan is using here. I'm not going to get an elite quarterback unless I take one right now, and Lamar Jackson is about as elite as it gets at quarterback. So at these 1Z positions like QB and tight end, I have guys who can literally lead the position. I don't need to say anything about what Lamar does. He's maybe the best dual threat quarterback of all time.
He is.
Maybe the only concern is that the Ravens are so good this year that they, don't need him to be as heroic on offense, but that's like a 1% chance. I think no matter what, the floor is so high and the ceiling is astronomical. Lamar Jackson, enough said.
Not much debate there as Lamar goes off the board at pick 23. Daniel Dopp, you're up. I didn't jinx.
As soon as Tyler did that, my first thought was, yes. Let's channel my inner Moneyball because I get Chase Brown to join the squad.
What can Chase Brown do for you? We're
I am
find
so
out
pumped.
right now.
I've been talking about him nonstop on the Fantasy Focus Football podcast.
He reminds you of?
I think that he is Austin Eckler light. The way that they're going to utilize him in this offense. Last year when he became the starter in Week 9, after that he was RB2 in targets, RB2 in catches, running back 3 in goal-to-go rush attempts, and running back 4 in fantasy points per game. So you're telling me he plays on an offense that's just nonstop going to score points. The defense sucks. So they're going to have to continue to be able to be an offensive-minded football team. And he gets all the passing game work, and he's the guy that touches the ball at the goal line. Like, what else am I supposed to want out of a running back?
Sounds pretty good.
It all sounds awesome. Yeah. Liz, Loza, back on the clock at 25.
I had a feeling that my friend Daniel Dopp was going to take Chase Brown because we are both in on the continued breakout of one.
And you know what? That proved to be a fact.
Thank you. Thanks, Field.
See what I'm doing?
Not just
look
a
at that,
feeling,
Field,
but a
Yates.
fact. All right, thank you. So I am going to take factually a quarterback that has been a top 8 producer at the position for 3 straight seasons. The majority of the offense returning. Give me one Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Over Jaden Daniels, huh? You are here to mess stuff up, as you said.
Yeah.
Here you
Nothing wrong
go.
with that.
Here you go, Boo.
Nothing wrong with that at all.
No, nothing wrong.
Toot.
You get a t-shirt.
He'll still push his way to
Remember,
12
Super Bowl
touchdowns.
Champion Jalen Hurts.
If everybody thinks alike, nobody is thinking Liz going her own way here. She's
I just want to throw this out. Like the majority of information or advice that we give people is wait till the later rounds to draft quarterbacks. But now we've got 3 that have gone in the
exceptions
third.
this year, right?
In the third
the big
round.
4.
What, I'm just like, why are we doing that?
I think there's
Those are
4 or
big
5
four.
that clearly stand out.
Podcast about it. You can go download that another time.
All these guys run like it's I don't know.
Yeah, this is tough. I want my strategy this year, especially in 12-team leagues, is to get one of the big 4 quarterbacks and one of the top tight ends, which is why Tyler copied that strategy.
Yeah, how you doing with
that
that?
on my
But it didn't work. You know, this
Yeah.
is why you have to be flexible in the draft. You can't just
So this
follow
year you're
that no
not
matter.
waiting till round
Nope.
7, 8, 9
I want one
to
of the
draft
big
a
4 if
quarterback.
I can
he
get them.
might
But
be.
like I
Three
could
of the
pass
big
on
four
Josh
are
Jacobs
gone.
there.
Note taken.
That's what I'm doing.
I think she needs to read your playbook on.
Yeah, well, that's why she just asked me to make her pick last round. She
Well,
didn't
you
read
did
it yet.
mention
So
like the big 4 and all that. You know, we'll
Be a
send
team
her
player.
the link.
All right,
I'm here to
Stephania
help.
on the
Okay,
clock.
that's what I'm here
26.
for.
Yeah, I don't need any time at all because Liz just gifted me the quarterback that I want. That's
right.
Jaden Daniels.
All right,
So-
there you go.
Stephania, this is just in case I lose my luggage again.
Okay, right. And I have
All
to
right.
cook for you.
Yeah,
we
cook for me. You
do
have
this.
to lend me your clothes.
Yeah. So,
guys are
but
quite the
thank you
team.
very much. I know
Yeah.
Jaden Daniels. I love everything about Jaden Daniels, and I think his star is going to continue to rise. I don't even think I really need to make a case here. I'm with you. There's like the big 4, and then I'm sort of on the bubble with Joe Burrow. Kind of depends what else I have in my draft so far. I'm pretty happy with my draft. I don't mind adding Jaden Daniels here.
A+ so far, Stephania Bell.
Oh wow.
Crushing
This
it.
is my goal.
Early grading.
My goal.
I like
D. Woody on the clock.
She's slipping me some cash. That's
midterm
why she's
grades.
sitting here. I got every pick she makes, another
I'm
50.
so angry.
Me?
No, not at you. At my friend Stephania. I was just sitting back, I'm like, just please let somebody let them slide to me. Oh my gosh.
Sorry, Woody. You know
I'm going
still
AJ Brown.
Yeah,
I'm going AJ Brown.
Had a feeling you were going to do that.
Yeah, I'm
Thinking
going
I
AJ
remember
Brown.
last round. Yeah.
AJ Brown?
Why do
Yeah.
you think he fell so far?
Why do I think AJ Brown fell so far? I don't know.
I'll tell you why.
Low volume passing.
He just does it every year, and he's just that boring. You know, everybody wants a shiny new object,
He's incredible.
and he just keeps getting it done.
What if Saquon does fall off and they need to throw the ball more and their defense isn't as dominant and they actually
Damien's
have their
protected
first
himself,
ball?
right?
I think AJ Brown's a great value.
I
in
got
round 3.
Saquon
No doubt.
and
No
AJ.
doubt.
Why not?
Number
You fell quite a bit.
27, AJ, who is, as we know, an avid reader on the sidelines and a very good value, pick 27. Eric Moody, back on the clock. Did you want AJ Brown? By the way, you are on the clock.
Yeah, I just got to keep my composure since my picks, people keep taking. Like I was looking at AJ Brown there as well. But I guess I'll have to continue saying I've got a contingency plan because I do. So Team Moody drafts. I'm going to go with Kyron Williams here.
All right.
Kyron Williams,
So I'm going to go with
handsomely
Kyron
paid.
Williams. So I want to really
The newly
solidify the way I'm building this team, like with the running back position. And I look at Williams as one of like the safest bets in fantasy football right now. And I think nobody really seems to care. You look over the last 2 seasons, he scored 31 touchdowns, tied for the most amongst running backs. A guy who's averaged 18.8 fantasy points per game, which ranks 4th at the position. So I really like Williams. I just want to solidify running back. We'll see what happens at wide receiver and tight end. But I'm looking at this board, and I'm like, just look at this QB run. I see this run, but I don't want to take part in it yet. So I'll go. Williams.
I also don't like running, for what it's worth. I don't want to take part in that at all.
We would never do an actual marathon, a fantasy football marathon.
Very different.
Anita, your T-shirt stack is dwindling, but still some good options there. Who are you taking at number 29?
Actually, I have so many.
Oh,
so I pack a bag. But the guy that I want is here.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I mean,
Good
like,
pick.
who can cover him? Seriously, who can cover him?
Not me.
Nobody so far. Yeah.
Nobody.
Not us. Yeah.
Nobody.
Maybe Tyler.
Tyler thinks he can.
Tyler might.
Tyler might think he could cover him with those cleats
I
and those
thought of
red
his
gloves.
release package.
But I just
gonna
coming into
leave
his
that
second
alone.
year with Justin Herbert,
But what about Keenan Allen returning to Los Angeles?
who?
120 targets last year for the Bears.
Wow.
To me, it's
Rashawn
all,
Slater out too.
it's
for the
all about
season?
it's all about lad for me.
It's all about your lad. There you have it. Shefty, to wrap things up here in round 3, you are back on the clock.
We'll follow it up with another Los Angeles Charger.
Oh, I know where
Najee.
you're going. Oh,
Wow.
Do it.
Oh, Marion.
Yeah.
Number 30.
I love that pick.
You know, it's interesting,
I like
Shefty, is Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator of the Chargers earlier today, was talking about how even if Najee Harris is unavailable in week 1, Omarion Hampton's going to have to cede some work to other running backs.
And Najee Harris practiced today for the first time.
I know, yeah. But
That's a good question.
Mostly, Omarion Hampton, if you're playing in a league with me, just stay away from that guy. If they're going to give somebody else work, you got to be careful. There you have it. 4 quarterbacks in the 3rd round. We have so much more to go, including Shefty right back on the clock to kick off round 4 in just a matter of moments. 4 QBs, no surprise. The order, that's one that could be debated probably all the way until the season begins. Stick with us. We're having a blast here on the Mock Draft.
All right, I have a question from Samuel. Do you foresee a realistic possibility that Tyreek gets back into the top 5 for PPR scoring this year? It is an excellent question because we have seen the Cheetah be elite for so long, but last year obviously had a drop-off. I'm a little bit concerned about the explosiveness that he is going to be able to come to the season with, given that he is now 31 years old, but the absence of Jonnu Smith does open up some targets. You're mentioning a PPR league. Top 5? I don't think so. Top 12? I do think so. All right, this is from Tatarunda Balalova? Hi, T. Which rookie receiver should I trust the most? Emeka Ibuka, McMillan, Hunter, or Golden, Travis Hunter, or Matthew Golden? Man, should you trust the most? I mean, I think probably the best producer is going to be T-Mac Teteroa McMillan in Carolina. Awesome outside receiver, projects as an X, showing incredible chemistry with Bryce Young, who I do think will improve this season. So that would be my pick there. One more, or another one, Dio's card, or Disco Cards. Hot take, Brian Thomas Jr. bust. That's not a hot take. It's cold because it's wrong. There's no way that that guy is going to bust. Last question. This is from Endzone. Am I crazy for drafting 2 receivers in the first 2 rounds, Amon-Ra and Nico Collins? I do not think that's crazy. I do not think that that is a crazy thought at all. Nico Collins, by the way, 20-1 odds to be the offensive player of the year. I think those are great options, and there is some depth. Maybe you could get Bucky Irving a little bit late and employ a 0 RB strategy. I like this for PPR-friendly formats. Thank you.
We are back here on our Sports Center special. It's our fantasy draft presented by our friends over at the ESPN Bet Sportsbook. And as you notice, there are a couple of notable quarterbacks that are still available. Patrick Mahomes, you may have heard of him, the best player on the planet. Plus, Joe Burrow, one of the absolute surgeons in all of fantasy football, a guy who had a monster season last year. Adam Schefter is on the clock as we begin round 4. But, Schefter, we have some news involving your Chargers running back that is not the one that you just took moments ago, Amari in Hampton.
Yeah, Field, we found out Najee Harris ran and participated in drills with a football today for the first time in training camp, off to the side with an athletic trainer, but he was out there and he was holding a football. Undaunted, I still picked Amari in Hampton.
You're going Najee now just to double up?
Yeah.
Make sure?
There was another running back in the news today who ended his holding in Buffalo.
Oh, nice.
We just had this conversation in the break. Seriously, dude.
Okay. I'm not calling Mike Clay. I called Nana. I went to the source.
That's right. She knows
She
running
said,
backs.
James Cook. Buffalo Bills.
All right.
There you have it. James Cook, who tied for the NFL lead with 16 rushing touchdowns last season, comes off the board at pick number 31. Anita Marks, much to your chagrin, but at least you are now on the clock.
I'm like, how many of your friends want you in their fantasy league? It's not even fair that you just picked up your phone and like text and said, "Hey, are you getting a deal done?" And yeah, and like that's not fair.
That's the reality.
Just so people know, in the break, I asked Adam, "Who are you drafting?" He said, "Joe Burrow." I said, "Okay." I said, "Is James?" I said, "Is James Cook? Is he going to get a deal done?" And he said, "Oh, sure." And then a minute before we came back from break, he's like, "Oh, I changed my pick."
Anita, you are now 20 seconds away from getting
I
auto
know.
It's
That's my Clay again.
ruthless. Yeah, ruthless fantasy football.
All right. Give me Joe Burrow.
There you go.
I'll trade you James Cook for Joe. No.
I got to be honest with you,
Give me
Anita.
this guy right here.
I actually think, like, that's great. Like, you got Joe Burrow.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You should be happy.
He's got swag.
He does.
There you go.
I guess she.
You just have a
go ahead.
whole running back right
just
now.
asked Anita before we came back from break, are you taking Joe Burrow? Like, you just asked Adam, and you were like, absolutely not. And then you did the same thing.
Because he took James York.
Joe Burrow, fifth quarterback
Keep your
off
wits
the
about
board.
you
by the way.
during fantasy.
I guess, like, how do I follow that off?
That's
Just
tough.
follow the
You don't
board.
want to get too high, too
All right, so, wow, okay, now that took place. So, Team Moody selects T. Higgins. So I am glad that you selected Joe
Love T.
Burrow.
Higgins.
I was afraid you were going to
Following the
select T.
board.
Higgins,
Love
but one
T.
thing about
Higgins.
Higgins I like, 12 games last season, he posted career-high marks. If you look in touchdowns and fantasy points per game, both of which rank top six at the position. He's got Joe Burrow throwing him the football. He's got Jamar Chase there. I've got someone who can be an elite wide receiver one if Jamar Chase misses time.
I'm surprised.
How could you pass up on that?
I'm surprised you took T. Higgins over Mike Evans.
Yes.
Wow.
There was a good stretch of games last year when T and Jamar were playing together.
Oh,
T
yeah.
out-targeted Jamar. And now, it makes sense. Defenses are focusing on Jamar. You got to pick your poison there.
I
But T
can't
can
take you
advantage.
seriously with those shades. Thank
He's doing
you.
that thing again.
I have to sit right next to him. How do you think
Whose pick is it?
All right, who's
It's
up?
Woody.
Well,
I feel so distant over here, guys.
Buddy.
Nice.
we all know that Stephania is a huge 49ers fan, so
Dang it.
I'm going
No,
with
you're
George
not.
Kittle.
No, you're not.
I'm going George Kittle.
George Kittle.
Are you
Yeah.
personal now?
Yeah,
Is that what just happened? Are we
please don't hate.
beefing?
Please don't hate me.
Great value for Woody all night.
Yes.
A.J. Brown last round, Barkley at 7, now George Kittle.
Look, he's still gold.
Crushing us.
Got a little George Kittle
See
dance
what they
going on
did
over
there,
there.
Stephania? Still
so
gold.
Wait a second. I gave a jersey to Tyler and he put it on. Damien, are none of you going to try to put on?
It looked
I
like
can put
it
it on my
would fit.
forearm.
I thought it looked like it would fit.
Yeah, it would fit on my forearm. Yeah.
You know you're supposed to have a contingency plan.
I've heard that.
I've heard that.
I've heard that, yeah.
It's kind of floating around.
I kind of had one.
Yeah.
Here,
Well, hey, you really like Ricky Pearsall. Liz is going to call you a coward if you don't take him.
Wow.
Jump on him now.
Liz can call me all kinds of things.
I would only call you my friend, Stephania.
No, see, don't try. It's not going to work.
Buttering you
Not
up.
going to work.
I'm doing what I can.
I'm going to go with, I just have this feeling that all is going to end well here. I'm going to go with Terry McLaurin.
Okay. Terry McLaurin. Hey, Schefter, any 30-second update that you can provide on that contract?
It's been status quo. Again, I think to Stephania's point, there's too much for both sides not to figure out a solution at some point. It's August 12th. The deal doesn't have to get done on August 12th. It has to get done on August 30th, somewhere around. They got a couple of weeks to go. And Field. We got the Commanders on Monday Night Football this week. We'll be talking plenty about Terry McLaurin.
Yeah, Adam Peters over in Washington is a master of roster construction and showed that with how he started to build the league. I'm confident that this is going to get done.
All right.
And, I'll pair him up with my Jaden Daniels. Remember how I took Jaden Daniels?
Oh, little
That's
stat.
right.
Yeah.
Like that.
That was
Over to Liz Loza we
last
go.
year in the War Room.
Touchdowns, you get 2.
That's right.
That very stack.
That's
Jaden
right.
Daniels and Terry McLaurin.
That'll work.
All right.
Liz?
Good work.
Well, this is interesting because I feel like I'm getting everything I want, which
that never happens.
Nice life.
that's just true right now. You know it well, right? You know that's why we got martinis, sunglasses, and Kenneth Walker working with Clint Kubiak. So
I like Kenneth Walker.
I'm very happy to have him as my RB2. And
Oh, whoa, hold on. Kenneth Walker didn't practice today.
Oh, no.
That's true.
do I look worried? Is the T-zone sweating? The T-zone is bone dry, baby.
I don't know. Foot injury and running back, and also Kenneth Walker.
Adam, it's only August 12th.
There's also a guy named Zach Charbonnet. If any of you want to grab him later, try to
and then trade to you. Yeah.
Had both of them on the War Room team last year, too.
I mean, Schefter, I feel like we've talked about a lot of your team from last year.
Yeah.
I know.
Impressive
It's amazing
stuff.
I didn't win the championship.
It's amazing.
Wow.
It is. It's amazing.
Liz to Daniel. Daniel picked number 37 overall as we continue through the fourth round.
I already got 2 running backs here and Justin Jefferson at the wide receiver spot. And so I think I'm just going to take the best wide receiver on the board. Had a down year last year, but I think there is some positive regression coming. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tyler. Does that hurt your feelings? I'm taking Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill might be one of the biggest swing players in all of fantasy football this season. The Apex version of him is, as we know, amongst the very best players in all of fantasy. But we saw last year that the down version of Tyreek Hill can be downright difficult to manage. Daniel Dopp takes a big swing, though, at number 37.
I was eyeing him up, but I knew he wouldn't get past you, so thank you for sniping.
I got you.
It makes me feel better.
I don't think Tyler's going to cry, though, because I know exactly where he's going to go.
Under there. I can see
He's
him
going to take
There is a
someone
single
from his
team.
favorite team.
I shouldn't have stood on that island with you yesterday. You wouldn't have known my plan.
That's true.
Well, I did want Tyreek, but my boy Devontae, and I need a wide receiver. I'm a diva wide receiver.
Right.
I need a wide receiver on my team, which I'm waiting until round 4. I will take Devontae Adams with my LA Rams. He's not really a diva archetype. He's just a technician who goes out there, even at his advanced age, and just routes people up and gets open.
Isn't he like 31?
In your home as well?
No, I don't. And I don't want to see Devontae eating Taco Bell at this age. He's out in LA now. Get in your immortal chamber with your red light.
Grab some in and out when you're done.
Breakfast with Matthew.
Yeah.
It worked for Cooper Kupp. Breakfast with Matthew. Or Jimmy
Tyler
G.
goes patient at wide receiver. This is his first one in 4 picks made so far. Mike, on the clock, did you have any interest in Devontae Adams?
I did. I think he'll be perfectly fine. I have him 1 spot ahead of the guy I'm going to draft right here, which is Jackson Smith and Jigba. Fine to go with him. The talk in Seattle is there's going to be a lot of 12 personnel, 13 personnel, and 21 personnel, and who knows, but if that personnel's on the field when they're throwing, that means there's only 2 receivers out there, and they're going to get a bulk of the targets, much like JSN did last season. He's going to be terrific this year. Sam Darnold's a quarterback. We know he can, at the very minimum, get the ball to Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison and T.J. Hawkinson last year. So I'm happy to have JSN in the fourth round? Fourth round here is my number 2 receiver.
End of the fourth round for JSN, which means we are back to Dan Graziano for his first of 2 picks, one of which will, of course, take place in round 5.
I want to take a running back. I like the running back options that are here. But, Daniel, remember the other running back I was talking about when we were on Only Dan's last night? Do you remember who it was?
No, I remember the running back I talked about.
You remember the bathrobes.
I remember the deep V and the chest hair.
Travion Henderson.
Travion Henderson.
Travion Henderson. That's my money where my mouth is. I think he's going to be awesome for the Patriots. I think he's going to be an explosive playmaker with a major role. and I'm taking him in the 4th round. Travion Henderson.
Henderson is amongst the fastest rising players on ESPN.
Sure is,
He did.
All right, good.
There you have it. Henderson goes at the end of the 4th round. He is soaring right now in ADP. We'll see whether it gets this high. That being said, it's Graz's team. He does what he wants. 4 rounds wrapped up. And how about this? Over 1.3 million teams drafted, and many more millions of people signed up for ESPN Fantasy. 1.337 teams, million seven. Whoa. 1.337 million teams drafted so far. Get in on the action. Head on over. Be part of the ESPN Fantasy team. Round 5 coming around the corner.
This is SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
I have a question here from Stephen Leitch. I expect the Eagles to pass more this year based on their tough schedule. Why is AJ falling in drafts? And I think the answer here is just that he's not the shiny new object. There's all these fun, exciting players coming up, whether it's these young running backs or these year 2 breakout candidates or the quarterbacks, as you saw in our draft, that people are jumping all over. But AJ Brown just continually gets it done each and every year. He's not over the hill. He's still in his late 20s. He's still part of a terrific Philadelphia Eagles offense. So I think it's all systems go for A.J. Brown. And if you can get a value like Woody did in this draft and he's falling, pounce on him. You'll feel great whether he's your number 1 receiver, number 2 receiver. You're going to be in a good spot investing in this Eagles offense this season. All right, next question. Scott Novak wants to know, I'm high on Chase Brown this year. Top 10 seems realistic if things fall right for him. Well, if you're watching the draft, we seem to agree based on where we have him ranked, and obviously Daniel Dopp really loves Chase Brown. He got him in the draft, and he's in a great position. He was a clear RB1 last season after Zach Moss went down for the season. He's going to have a big role in the passing game, and honestly, he's going to get a bulk of the carries because Samaje Perine will be out there to spell him a little bit, maybe some pass blocking work, but Chase Brown could be looking at 15 carries a game. They don't run a lot, obviously, but he could still get around 15 carries a game and 5-6 targets, and that's certainly going to put him in that running back 1 conversation in what is one of the best offenses in the NFL. All right, one more. AJ, is it a good or bad strategy to take multiple skill positions from the same NFL team? Well, I think this really depends on value. We just watched Woody do it. He took Saquon Barkley at 7, and then in the 3rd round somehow got A.J. Brown. Obviously, there's some risk there. If Jalen Hurts goes down for the season, he might be in a little bit of trouble, but if he doesn't, he's going to be great. Look how good it worked out last year and in recent years for a team like the Philadelphia Eagles. So I think it kind of depends on the offense. You can't go wrong with stacks, certainly, so a quarterback and a pass catcher is fine. But in like Woody's case, for example, they were clearly the best values on the board, so I think you have to do it. So, again, doesn't always work, but you got to take chances sometimes and take values to win championships, so I have no problem with it. You got it. Thanks.
UFC 319 Saturday night at the United Center in Chicago, highlighted by the middleweight title main event. Dricus du Plessis puts his belt on the line against Khamzat Chimaev. The prelims begin at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes in English, plus and ESPN Plus in English and Spanish, with the main card at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. Buy it at espnplus.com/PPV. So Tyler's got this thing where the only thing that changes is his wardrobe, like every 10 minutes. Putting on a show, sartorially splendid Tyler Fulghum. You comfortable at least?
Yeah, very comfy. These are super sticky. The glasses feel good. I mean, I'm feeling good. I got a great team.
What's the practical use of those gloves day to day for you?
It helps me hold on to all of the fantasy championships I've won.
Wow.
In my days.
Where are they?
In your mind.
That's where,
Where are they at?
I keep them at home, locked up safely. On the
Yeah,
shelf.
convenient. Yeah,
I don't
convenient. We
I
haven't
don't need
seen
to
them.
show them off. I don't need to, peacock around here with fake belts like you.
I did. I brought all my belts today.
Tyler's going
it was
for
hard to carry them.
a very subtle look inside.
Yeah, clearly going
Humble
subtle
king.
today.
Subtle
Look
with
at this humble king.
Yeah.
On the clock here in round 5 of our mock draft, a reminder, this is the final round that we have in which you get a minute to make a pick. Graz back on the clock. Just took Travion Henderson at the end of round 4. Round 5, who you got?
I'm getting all the guys I want. I don't know whether that makes me an idiot or a genius.
That's never good.
Right, exactly. The only way this would have been more perfect is if Kittle was still here, because I want to go tight end, and I feel like it's drying up in terms of the elite guys, so I am going to take...
There's only been 3 taken.
That's how quickly it dried up.
That's what I'm saying.
That's his point.
But you're like,
kind of what I said.
elite, that was going to go in a hurry.
So there were 3 elite. I think Sam Laporta could be. We've seen it before. Sam Laporta is my pick here because I don't love the drop off to the next tight end group.
Okay, Daniel Dopp. No tight end for you, or no Detroit line for you.
Yeah, I'm upset about that.
A few picks,
Sorry,
but
buddy.
Mike Clay back on the clock here. I feel like Mike and Tyler have kept it rather cordial so far tonight.
He just said he got sniped by Dan. I heard him under his breath say,
Wow,
"You wanted Laporta
really?
there."
I did. I'm trying to get one of the top tight ends this year. I do feel like they're in tiers. I want Bowers or McBride. Obviously, you guys went a little early on them, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Next tier down is George Kittle. Missed out on him, so I was going to go Laporta here, knowing we're going to go back all the way around. So I feel like those 4 are the guys I'm most comfortable with. So
I like trading.
That's not going to happen here. All right, we'll talk.
All right.
We'll talk. I'm going to go another direction here. I think I'm going to go back to the wide receiver position, and I'm actually going to go for a little bit more upside. It's only a 10-team league. We're only starting 2 receivers in a flex, so I want to aim for a guy that I think can make a huge leap this season. He let us down a little last year, but he went a lot earlier last year. Marvin Harrison Jr. In Arizona. They have to be more creative. They have to design ways to get the ball in his hands. 0 design screens for him last year makes no sense. I know that he's a downfield producer, but you have to find ways to get the ball in his hands. I think they do a better job of that this season. So give me the upside here.
0 design screens, you said, from Marvin Harrison Jr.
0. One of the very few receivers in the NFL.
Feels like that could come up. Yeah.
It has to.
Yeah.
Give me 10.
Yeah, progression.
1.
Yeah. Progression to the positive. Tyler Fulghum on the clock here, pick 43. Did you want Marv?
Marv was not on my card. Marv was not in my queue.
No surprise.
I'm thinking running back here.
Okay.
I want to get a second running back to pair with Jahmyr Gibbs. This is an uninspiring part of the draft altogether, so it's really hard to find who you want. But I do think the New York Jets may lead the NFL in rush attempts this year as a team.
Yep.
And Breece Hall is a guy who can play on 3rd downs, and he can catch the ball in the backfield. And we've seen him create big plays in his career before. So I'm going to take Breece Hall, pair him with my uber ace, Jahmyr Gibbs, and I think I have 2 very capable pass-catching running backs in a PPR format that now I can do what I do best and focus on receiver the rest of the draft and really dominate by loading up on some value at the wide receiver position the rest of the way.
A few moments ago, I described Tyreek Hill as one of the biggest swing players in all of fantasy football. Breece Hall, not that far behind. As we know the talent of him, Damien has talked about how the Jets really want this guy involved in the passing game. But is he going to run the football a lot? Or is it going to be Braylon Allen, that 235-pound stallion from Wisconsin who was drafted last year in the 4th round? Dopp back on the clock. No Lions yet for you.
No Lions yet. I was going to take Sam Laporta if he made it back to me, but you know what? If he's going to end up on a team, at least it's on an only dance team. So I can't be upset about
He's
that.
in good hands.
I think I'm going to look, and he just continues to fall. I mean, you're talking about a running back on the Jets that you're wondering if he's going to catch passes, but what about Garrett Wilson?
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Garrett Wilson here and get him as my 3rd wide receiver. He's had over 148 targets every single year of his career. He's had 1,000 yards every single year of his career. He played with some scrub quarterback, and he was still wide receiver 10 last year. And so if he can do that with that dude, I understand the question mark, but I don't think I'll fit in this, Anita, for what it's worth. But I'm going with Garrett Wilson as my wide receiver 3.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
So he's been top 6 in targets all 3 years so far and has not finished top 20 in points per game yet in situations where he could get a lot of volume. He just hasn't scored touchdowns. And now you have Justin Fields there. This is going to be probably, to your point, the lowest volume pass offense in the NFL. I'm worried that you just drafted him at his ceiling. He just can't do more than this. Like he's a mid-range wide receiver 2. He won't get above that with Justin Fields.
I just
They're going to throw 25 times a game.
How do you feel about that? Fifth round for Garrett Wilson? I don't think that's terrible value. He already slid way past ADP.
You know what, though? I'm just asking a question. I just asked a question.
I definitely understand the concern. I think the reason why he fell is all the concerns that you just listed out. Otherwise, he'd be way higher on this list. But I totally get what you're saying. I'm just going to buy the idea that this is an unbelievably talented football player.
All right, quarterback's his friend from college. Remember how DJ Moore got fed pretty good by Justin Fields a couple years ago, right? Like, it can happen.
Look at this only Dan's backing each other.
I don't like this. You're a little too chummy.
I know. You guys like wore your colors.
Yeah, we did that.
Honolulu blue.
Liz, who is not a Dan, is on the clock.
No, I'm not a Dan, but I have a feeling that this pick might be the beginning of some tension between Stephania and I.
Oh, boy.
It's making me feel a little bit nervous.
Ricky Pearsall?
No, it's not Ricky Pearsall. It's Mike Evans, a player that I know Stephania likes very much, and for good reason, because he has cleared 1,000 yards in every single campaign of his, 11 going on 12-year career, double-digit touchdowns in back-to-back seasons. I don't see him slowing down. Something about Jerry Rice just put him on my team.
Okay, there you have it. Mike Evans, the ageless wonder, continues for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Damien Woody, you are up now.
No, it's Stephania.
No, it's
right?
my
I'm
turn.
sorry,
but that's
Stephania.
okay. I'm often overlooked. I'm not. My feelings aren't hurt or anything. I'm just going to sit here
Liz was just
quietly.
saying about your name.
Yeah, it's okay. It's all right. Fields, you've been doing a lot of work. You've been doing the heavy lifting. I'm going to give you a mulligan here.
Thanks.
Besides, I'm going to make a very unsexy pick, so it's not going to get a lot of attention. You know, this isn't a flash player. It's not some star rookie. It's just a guy.
Chuba Hubbard.
It's actually, you're close because I was debating, but.
Can you let me go? What are you doing right now?
I'm going to go with Alvin Kamara. Because Alvin Kamara is still going to get a ton of work. You know, he's my second. I mean, at this point in the draft, I think the pick is incredible value for what he brings. Do you know he's never played fewer than 13 games in a season, which for a running back at 30 years old, 30, I said it.
Oh, my goodness.
I know.
It's like a power.
I have, my stable of running backs is like, 29 and 30.
His saving grace is going to be maybe similar to CMC is no matter what, he'll catch a ton of football. Even if the efficiency isn't there.
I want a pass catching running back.
Whoa.
I'm going to qualify.
Is it time for another break?
I can cut the tension with some Kamara stats.
If older means 30, well.
Anyway.
Oh, my God.
I was going to follow that up with them, but I don't dare.
Schefter, you on like a historic roll the past few days.
Wow.
You really have been red hot.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how to pivot from there. I think it is actually your turn this time, Damien.
Yeah. What was that name you said?
James Conner.
There we go.
Yeah. There you go.
James Conner. Yes.
I'm not sure if we have enough.
Oh, man.
That's the foggiest kind of guy.
That's right. Send it my way.
James Conner goes to pick number 47, 5 straight years as a top 20 running back for James Conner, who played 16 games last year. Eric Moody.
I'm just laughing. We
I
had
love
that.
how the ladies are making the men blush.
You said that, Adam, and then we have Damien taking James Conner, and then Stephania's. I'm like, you two are talking about tension. I'm like, it's tension where Alvin Kamara's gone. That's what I was going for.
Oh, man. Did you have a contingency plan?
Of course I do, Field. That's going to be my tagline. Yeah.
Like a Boy Scout. Always comes prepared.
I kind of prefer Batman, contingency plan.
Yeah.
So,
Stop.
all right.
I mean, if you're giving anyone, it's Batman.
Okay. All right.
That's
So
serving.
All right, but we got to stay focused, right? I'm getting distracted here.
We got 20 seconds.
I know. Field, so Team Moody will select DK Metcalf.
DK
Metcalf.
Metcalf.
DK Metcalf. Not my original plan, but I love the connection. You've got Metcalf and you've got Aaron Rodgers. So I'm kind of excited to see what this duo does, and especially with Metcalf being so prolific in the end zone. And I think Rodgers is going to feed him quite a bit. So I'll go with Metcalf in my flex.
Okay. DK Metcalf, welcome to not just Pittsburgh, but also Eric Moody's team at the near end of round 5. Anita, you are on the clock here.
Yeah.
What do you do with players when they get traded and you have a T-shirt of them? Like DK Metcalf.
So it's interesting. So at the start of every season, I have to go through my plethora of T-shirts, and I have to throw out at least 20 of them because players who were traded or they don't play any longer or whatever. And,
Can you at least donate?
I do.
Okay, good.
I do donate.
Good. I had a feeling you did.
I do, Fields.
Okay, great. Who are you thinking? I'm distracting you.
Way to take 30 seconds off the clock. I got you, Field. You want me to get this? I got it for you.
Shefty Venmo'd me. He's got somebody he really wants right now.
I'm not excited about this pick. It's between Hubbard, Swift, or DJ Moore. What do I do, Mike Clay? You're the
What do you got? How many players you got?
You're the
implicit trust right here.
Also, we all rank.
Chuba Hubbard. You have one running back. You need a second running back. I got you.
Wow. Chuba Hubbard it is. No T-shirt.
No.
Co-managed.
Who has a T-shirt of Hubbard?
You.
A lot of people can't.
If anyone would, you would be the
Hubbard, nobody has a T-shirt of
Say,
Hubbard.
Liz,
She has
Nita
Rico
has
Dowdle, Trevor Etienne, Jonathan Brooks.
the Vikings long snapper. Who has Chuba Hubbard? All right, Shefty, you're on the clock to round out round number 5.
Well, we'll take DJ Moore, the Chicago Bears wide receiver. Looks like he's going to be the number 1 option in the Bears offense, and happy to make him my wide receiver 2.
Okay.
You know what's funny about him? Everyone wants him to fail this year because everyone wants Roma Dunze. Everyone wants your guy. Everyone wants Luther Burden to happen. Everyone wants Colston Loveland to happen.
They paid DJ Moore a lot of money last year.
Yeah, but everyone wants him to go away in fantasy, so the sleeper's paying out this year.
93 catches.
Perfectly round. Like everybody took somebody. They're like, I don't know.
That's round 5. Yeah, that checks out.
Beyond this round, we have 45 seconds. So if you're disappointed by your pick, you have less time to be disappointed by it. We still have much more to come here on our fantasy draft. And by the way, be part of the growing number of teams that have been drafted. 1.35 million teams and counting there. And plus, millions of others have signed up for the ESPN Fantasy app. Be a part of the experience this year. We promise you it's the best way to play fantasy football.
right. I am going to be answering some questions here now. I've got AJ Hawk's Toxic Finger. That's an interesting name. Stephania, why do 49ers keep getting hurt? I see this as personal. Who will be the handcuff for McCaffrey? Well, I'm hopefully going to be saying that the 49ers are getting their injuries out of the way early and that this will not be something that goes on season long. But Isaac Guerendo is really the player that is the number 2 to Christian McCaffrey. Now, I actually spoke with him when I was out at training camps, and he spent the entire offseason out in the Bay Area so that he could really get more work with the offense. And he was coming off an injury last year, wanted to rehab at the facility. I expect that he'll be okay by the time the season rolls around. He did have a shoulder injury in practice, but Isaac Guerendo is the clear number 2 to Christian McCaffrey. That's who you want to have if you have McCaffrey. Stephania, this is from BP. After Justin Jefferson's hamstring issue last year, how worried are you this year? That's a great question because we do see recurrence, especially with soft tissue injuries, hamstring injuries. This was reported to be minor. So it doesn't sound like the team is very concerned, and this is a great medical staff over in Minnesota. I think what you see in the preseason is they will manage injuries more proactively in terms of resting a player, even if it's not a big deal. So I'm not especially worried, little concerned, but not enough to keep me away from drafting him. All right, Kevin Burns, do you recommend Jacoby Myers or Ricky Pearsall? Well, I'm getting this question because everybody knows I love me some Ricky Pearsall, not just because he's a 49er, but also because right now he is stacking days and getting tons of run with the ones. He also worked with Brock Purdy in the offseason, both in Arizona and Florida, where they train. And they're really getting the timing of a timing offense down. I think Ricky Pearsall is going to make a huge leap in year 2 and start the season healthy. So I like Jacoby Myers fine, but I think Ricky Pearsall has tons of upside and will finish higher than his draft position. All right, Ulysses Ramirez. What pass catcher do you have the most faith in Green Bay? Oh, my goodness. The one who can stay healthy, to be honest. I'm not sure who I like the most out in Green Bay because right now I think they're all a bit banged up. Christian Watson is probably not going to play this year, so I'm looking more for Reed. And he's probably got the best path to be the number 1 pass catcher.
You're watching SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Fantasy football season is here, and you just got the link to join an ESPN Fantasy Football League. But don't know where to start? Don't worry. The ESPN Fantasy app is the answer with a brand new home feed personalized just for you. Just tap Join League in the app to find your invite. Then, use rankings, projections, and cheat sheets from ESPN's experts to enhance your draft strategy. On draft day, our live draft board in the Fantasy app upgrades your draft experience. Once your roster is set, access draft grades to see how ESPN experts think you performed. Download the ESPN Fantasy app or go to espn.com/fantasy to get started today.
Yes, it was.
We've got plenty of talent still on the board here as our mock draft rolls along. We're going to be into round 6 soon. You got guys like Xavier Worthy, Joe Mixon. Is he going to be healthy enough to get drafted? Plus more talent still to come off the board. DeAndre Swift getting that Ben Johnson bump in Chicago. How much longer will he have to wait? We'll find out soon.
All right, I had a question come up here about Jordan Love's injury. May have heard that he had thumb procedure being done. This is his non-throwing hand. This came from Shane Presnall. There it is. It popped back up on my screen. The question was, how is Matthew Golden's ranking affected with the news of Jordan Love's thumb surgery? I really don't think it is at all. Obviously, for a quarterback, it's better if it's your non-throwing hand than your throwing hand, but you still have to be mindful of both taking snaps under center, handoffs, things like that can be tough to do in the early phases when you're recovering from surgery. But he should be good to go as the season gets underway. I don't think the thumb's going to limit him at all. Derrick Henry or Jonathan Taylor? This question comes from Mason DeWitt. I love Derrick Henry. I've actually been targeting him in a bunch of mock drafts. If I'm not getting one of the running backs who are at my tip top of the list, like Genty or CMC or Bijan, Derrick Henry is right after that group for me, and solid player who has been mostly healthy in his career. Jaden Daniels' sophomore slump from Tron TV. I don't think he's going to have a sophomore slump between his work ethic and his talent. And by the way, Jaden Daniels just one of those quarterbacks who's going to provide as much fantasy value with his legs as he does with his arm. He's very serious. He's shown what he can do already. I don't think there's a slump. In fact, I think there will be growth from him. We've just seen the beginning.
Drafting, he said Joe Burrow. I said, okay. I said, is James Cook, is he going to get a deal done? And he said, oh, sure. And then a minute before we came back from break, he's like, oh, I changed my pick. Give me Joe Burrow.
There you go.
Bold.
I'll trade James Cook for Joe. No.
I got to be honest with you, Anita.
Give me this guy right here.
Oh, Schefter and Anita having fun so far tonight as we roll into round 6 of our mock draft. Very intensely studying their next pick are both Schefter and Anita. Schefter on the clock. Here's pick number 51. 45 seconds a pop. People start acting fast.
Field, last year, I've referred to a number of guys that I picked on my team. Last year, in the War Room, I took Malik Neighbors, I took Brock Bowers, I also took Calvin Ridley.
Yeah.
We'll take Calvin Ridley right now.
Hey. Good boy. I was eyeing that one right there.
Hey, Terry McLaurin with a great rookie quarterback blew up last year. I think Calvin Ridley can do the same.
Like that comparison right there by Tyler.
Yeah.
Anita Marks back on the clock. Did you have your eyes on Calvin Ridley?
I love Calvin Ridley this season, but I have my eye on a tight end that I won't use the word shocked, but surprised he's still on the board. I have a picture of him. Can you zoom in? Who doesn't want a quarterback who's sitting in the Everglades with an alligator in his hands?
Is that Travie?
That's Travis.
Is that Travie?
Oh, my.
I still don't know who it was.
That is.
Who doesn't want that?
I think that's Travis Kelce. We'll give the credit to GQ there. I'm pretty sure that was from GQ, but Travis Kelce comes off the board, Anita.
Like it.
Okay.
All right.
There you have it.
How is he still on the board? He still has Patrick Mahomes as his quarterback.
He does. You know, he some questions about whether the peak of his powers is behind him, but that's part of the reason why he's still available in round 6.
That's right.
Moody, on the clock, my friend.
All right, I am on the clock. Team Moody selects R.J. Harvey.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, and so I know a lot of us here are talking about, hey, this is so uninspiring. I don't like any of these guys.
That's a reach.
I don't want them on my team. But I'm like,
she just said that's a reach after she took Travis Kelce.
That's what you took the words right out of my mouth.
around in 2025.
We're in the pro and con here of R.J. Harvey. The pros are what?
Yeah, the pros, he's with Sean Payton in that offense. You got Joe Lombardi there in Denver. You got a solid offensive line. But going back to Alvin Kamara, right? I'm like, he could be the Alvin Kamara of this Denver Broncos team.
Sure.
And so I'm very excited to have him as my RB3. So.
And Anita, your retort to that is?
I love the pick. I love it. I had him. Look, I have him highlighted.
I thought you had a reach.
Well, now you can cross him out.
And I'm really upset. I know, and I'm very upset that I had to cross him out. I love the pick.
So did you like Travis Kelce over Hawkinson?
Yes.
Hawkinson was still available.
He might go off the board pretty soon.
Maybe not for long.
Still available.
D. Woody picked 5-4 for you.
Moody.
Yeah, I'm actually going to stick with the same team and go Cortland Sutton.
Okay.
Nice.
He of $23 million per year money now. Cortland Sutton, who had over 1,000 yards last season for the Broncos, and I think Eric Moody might have wanted himself some Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, no, I did. I'm like, you look at Sutton, he had 2 consecutive seasons with at least 8 touchdowns, ranked in the top 10 in end zone targets, career year with Bo Nix. And you just think about it, he's someone you can draft as like a flex option or a wide receiver 3. But if Bo Nix takes another step forward in 2025, I'm like, you look at Sutton, he could flirt with wide receiver 2 value.
Sure. Didn't you just pass on him 1 pick ago?
Yeah.
You could have just taken him.
Well, I was going to take him when I was back on the clock, but it didn't really pan out.
That's a long time away. That was a bold risk right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, sometimes bold risks pay off, sometimes they don't. Stephania Bell, pick 55.
Yeah, I'm going to take the tight end that Anita should have taken at this point, and that's T.J. Hawkinson.
Wow.
Sorry, Daniel.
Little brother.
Love
That's
you,
okay.
bye.
I was going to say, for the record, has he ever been spotted in the same room as Daniel?
No, he has not. He has not. He is Daniel's doppelganger. But more importantly, T.J. Hawkinson last year proved that he was past the ACL injury, came back, played, which really helps a player coming into the following season. We know the return to performance is better. A year later, T.J. Hawkinson will be very active in that Minnesota Vikings offense. I expect J.J. McCarthy to make good use of it.
Yeah, perhaps especially early with no Jordan Addison for the first 3 weeks of the season. All right, so Liz, you are on the clock. Not sure if you're thinking about Hawkinson there.
I was thinking about Hawkinson. I love that pick, Stephania. You know, we always say that one of the best to execute on a good draft, you should really know your league mates. I happen to know mine pretty well. Which is why I'm going to tell you right now that I'm going to take J-Mo.
Liz!
And
I don't have any. What other Lions am I supposed to draft now?
Jake Elliott, pick 56.
David Montgomery.
he only caught 58 balls last year, but he averaged over 17 yards per reception. I think there's going to the breakout will only continue this year. And you know, I don't really mean to be a jerk, but you don't need any Lions on your team. Especially when Ben Johnson is on my real life.
Oh, wow. That's just a shot.
Rome is on the board.
She doesn't mean to be a jerk, but I think she's kidding.
With all due respect.
You know what's interesting about this, Daniel?
Offense.
Is you know how Mike typically catches a lot of flack? Like, Mike also has a bit of, sometimes because he's so analytically informed, throw cold water on stuff, right? You'd be like, yeah, I'm really excited about this guy. And Mike would be like, he's literally going to be 7th in target share on his own team. Daniel is Mr. Positivity, right? Like, be kind to everybody, love yourself, love each other. And then tonight it's been snipe. Liz, verbal jab at you. Like,
this is
did you do something earlier today?
We're creating a monster.
I feel like this is one of those things you guys are like trying to get me to turn into.
This is the origin story.
Right?
This is your origin story.
Exactly.
My job's done. I just sit back and relax. I started the chaos. And then,
would you have taken Jameson Williams at 57?
I would not take him at 57, but I would have taken him in the next pick at 64.
Okay.
So it sounds like you're saying Liz reached is what you're
I'm not saying that. No, not.
No, sounds
I'm not saying that.
I deserved it. I deserved it.
He wouldn't have been there at 64.
You would have taken him?
Yeah.
All right. All right. Well, with me being on the clock right now, I already got 3 great wide receivers, Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, and Garrett Wilson. And why not grab a guy that over the last 9 games has averaged 19.5 fantasy points per game?
Yep.
And that's Rashee Rice.
Yeah.
I am getting him at wide receiver 4 value. And when he is healthy and starting, he literally delivers top 10 wide receiver production. I love this dude. I don't even need to draft another wide receiver for the rest of the night.
Graz, did you go to Chiefs training camp this spring or this summer? No. Okay.
No, I did not.
I was going to ask you if you'd heard anything when you were around there. You or Schefter got any sort of, no Rashee Rice updates
on
right
suspension?
now?
No, I don't get a sense of when that's coming.
This season.
Before this season. I mean, he'll miss games this season.
And again, I think the baseline in the personal conduct policy is 6 games.
Yeah.
So if I had to bet, I would bet 6 games, but
it's the kind of thing a lot of times it gets like negotiated, right, with the players union.
Right.
Well, but who's running the players union?
So a little bit of a problem there. All right, Tyler Fulghum back on the clock, pick 58. Did you want Jamison Williams?
No, I was considering Rashee Rice because I'm building my team to be dominant in November and December.
That's
and
right.
If he's out for the first 4 or 5, 6 games, I can make up for it and have a hammer to come in the playoffs. But George Pickens. I'll stand on an island for George Pickens. I could potentially wait and see if he comes back around, but I'm not going to take that risk because he's a guy I want. And since I only have Davante Adams at wide receiver right now, I can't take that risk. This Dallas defense could be terrible. Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer will throw the football. Dak will cook. And CD and George Pickens could both be 1,200-yard receivers, I think, this year. I think they could both be kind of wide receiver one. So I'll bet on the diva that has been George Pickens at wide receiver because I know how to handle a diva.
Can I ask you a question, Tyler? Yeah. Are those gloves screen sensitive?
They're not. I've been trying. It's an issue.
You know what? Let me make your picks for you.
Mike now has control for the rest of the night there.
My kickers are right there.
There we go. Okay. Stop it! Oh, gosh. All right. Now, Mike on the clock at 59.
All right, so we were just talking about Rashee Rice and could potentially be out for 6 games to start the season. So give me Xavier Worthy, who's going to pick up some steam early on in the year. And honestly, throughout the season, we saw how he finished last year, averaging about 8.5 targets per game, was Patrick Mahomes' go-to guy. And again, I think when everyone's healthy around him, maybe that dips a little bit, but they drafted him in the first round for a reason. He's going to be a big part of this offense that I think will be more explosive, that throws the ball a lot, that will score more touchdowns, I believe. So I like the talent here for Xavier Worthy. He's on my bench, so I could just plug him in with, whatever I want.
Exactly.
I feel good about that one.
Patrick Mahomes' passing prop at ESPN Bet is 4,500, which is tied with Burrow for the highest in the NFL. So the market is expecting the Chiefs to be able to throw the football again.
By the way,
I think if you had just the sunglasses and not the gloves, it'd be easier to listen to the real analysis. But
there's nothing real. There's nothing real going on over here, Dan.
So you guys are talking about being at camp, seeing guys. You're at training camp. You guys are all around the camps. I was at the Super Bowl last year when watching Xavier Worthy in person. So I got a little film, and it was garbage time in the fourth quarter because they were losing to the Super Bowl champion Eagles. But anyway, I just wanted to throw that in there. I saw him. It was a good football game.
The thing about Mike is it's the humility that keeps us continuing to bring him back, right?
That's right. Oh yeah.
Graz, final pick of the 6th round, number 60 overall.
I was also at the Super Bowl, and I saw a guy catch a touchdown pass for the Eagles that's still on the board here that I really like. I can get a piece of the Eagles offense in the 6th round with a guy in Devontae Smith who catches everything, who if they do happen to throw it when they're inside the 10-yard line for a change, he's probably the guy that catches it. I'm taking Devontae Smith as my number 2 receiver already in round 6. We'll run on receivers.
End of round 6, Devontae Smith, they call him the Slim Reaper in Philadelphia, is officially off the board. Wow, there you go. 10 more picks underway. And by the way, if you want to get in on the action, do so right now. Join us over here on ESPN Fantasy. We have seen 1.376 million teams drafted. That is an astronomical number. Let's keep pushing for 1.5 million by the end of the draft this evening. Things roll along with round number 7 coming around the corner.
All right, it looks like here in the chat, Tyler Fulghum, of course, hanging out with you guys as we do our fantasy football marathon draft. Aaron Swinson says, I would rather have Jordan Mason over Breece Hall. What? Aaron, you can have both. I mean, Breece Hall's ADP is in the 40s. Jordan Mason is down in the 90s, the 100s, so you can get both. But Jordan Mason is a 2-down banger. Aaron Jones is still there. I'm sorry, buddy. Breece Hall is the superior pick. That's why I selected him on my team. We'll see if I land on Jordan Mason either way, but I don't know about that, my friend. I think you're off base there. We got another question here. Do you guys think Ridley can finally get back to the Calvin Ridley he used to be with a better QB? I do. I said it when we were doing the draft. I forgot who took Calvin Ridley down there amongst my cohorts, but we saw Terry McLaurin bust out with Jaden Daniels. It was Adam Schefter who took Calvin Ridley, I now remember. But we saw Terry McLaurin bust out with Jaden Daniels, who was Rookie of the Year. I think Cam Ward could win Rookie of the Year, and his top target is definitely going to be Calvin Ridley. So I could see Ridley breaking off, a 1,200-yard season as the top option with 10 touchdowns. And where he's going in drafts, I think that would give you some great value. Steven has a question here of a couple of wide receivers. DJ Moore or Rashee Rice? They're both in offenses with plenty of weapons. I know Caleb is not Mahomes. I think Rashee is the better fantasy player. However, I'm going to say DJ Moore is the answer in this particular dilemma because obviously the impending suspension. We just heard Schefty say 6 games is something you should consider as a real possibility. So the fact that we know DJ Moore, barring injury, is going to be available for all 17 games of the season, and that is certainly not the case with Rashee Rice. If you already have some wide receiver depth, maybe you can put Rashee Rice and stash him on the bench to be a late-season hammer, but definitely think DJ Moore, given the fact that he's not going to be suspended. Nice gloves coming from Yanks. How did it feel to steal Gibbs from Dopp? It was awesome. I wish it was Mike Clay. Honestly, I wish it was Mike Clay that I was stealing him from. Dopp, great guy, but I wanted Jahmyr Gibbs, so I had to swipe him. Last question here from Matthias. Why do people prefer Tet McMillan over Xavier Legette? I guess because Legette wasn't that impressive as a rookie. Remember that big drop he had against the Eagles? And Tet McMillan was a top 10 draft pick. He brought a better college profile to the NFL. He's got, I think, more athletic ability, and he's probably going to be the #1 receiver for Bryce Young in this offense. So I personally would take Tet McMillan over Xavier Legette. Again, you can have both of them because they're being drafted so far apart. Boom.
All right, back here, and look at this. We've got top available players, and there's a theme that we are sensing. 2 running backs and 3 wide receivers after a bunch of wide receivers just went off the board. Joe Mixon, one of the biggest question marks in all of fantasy football right now, as he is, of course, dealing with an ankle, foot thing. Perhaps more questions than answers on Joe Mixon and his status to return to the field for the Houston Texans. 45 seconds back on the clock. We were in round 7. Dan Graziano. My friend, where are you going?
I was just making sure my guy was on that screen there. Otherwise, I'd be worried. I'm going to go with Zay Flowers. I need to keep beefing up a wide receiver. Zay Flowers, #1 receiver in the Ravens offense, which I think has a chance to probably be pretty good. With
sources confirm that.
It. Yeah. So, I've had him before. He's kind of hit or miss, but the hits are pretty good.
I'd say he reminds me a little bit of what Mike was discussing earlier with Garrett Wilson, is that, there's just a little bit of a ceiling on this player relative to some of the other wideouts that have been drafted just ahead of it. But you're getting him in the top of the 10th round.
I'll tell you real quick, last year, the Chiefs at the Super Bowl, Chiefs coaches were talking about DeAndre Hopkins and how much he helped Xavier Worthy when he was there in the second half of last year. I wonder if he's going to have a similar effect on some of the guys in Baltimore.
Mike Clay back on the clock, who just reminded us, by the way, that the Chiefs played against the Eagles, his Eagles in the Super Bowl.
They sure did.
You want to gloat again or not?
What's that?
You want to gloat again or are you good?
I mean, there's plenty of time tonight to get more
than
that.
Yeah,
It's doing the work for me. I'm going to go to Chicago here and take DeAndre Swift.
Smart.
I'm so sorry.
It was great.
It's not Roma Dunze. I didn't take Roma Dunze. I'm going to take DeAndre Swift. I think he's a little underrated right now. He is this is kind of incredible. 6 seasons in the NFL so far. He's finished between 15th and 21st in fantasy points all 6 seasons so far. Just a very consistent RB2. Now you bring in Ben Johnson to this offense. He's had success with the running backs in Detroit.
But he didn't have success with Swift. in Detroit. He was, in fact, the offensive coordinator in Detroit during Swift's last year, and
different time in both of their careers.
But also, who's his competition in Chicago?
That's a fair point.
I don't know. I'm not worried about Roshan Johnson.
Facilitating conversation.
Pride or
Facilitating conversation.
I'm with you. Look, I'm with you. I think he's an underrated player right now, so he's my third running back. Happy to get him here.
Tyler, what do you got, buddy?
Yeah, I need to go wide receiver again. I hit my onesie positions and filled running back. There's 3 guys I like here. I'm going to go Jalen Waddle. I missed out on Tyreek Hill,
about him there.
So I will take Jalen Waddle. This is a flimsy offense because a lot can go wrong with Tua's health, with the offensive line. However, if this bet hits, if they stay healthy, the defense is as bad as I think it's going to be, then you're looking at a guy here in the 7th round that I think could be a guy who puts up 1,100 yards and 8 to 10 touchdowns. So
8 to 10 touchdowns.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah, I think that's a ceiling.
It's a bold. He's 6 over the last 2 seasons.
I'm talking ceiling.
Love the pick.
Bold call right there.
Non-zero chance he is the Dolphins' #1 wide receiver by the end of this upcoming year. And you did not draft Tyreek Hill, so you're not even hedging
I missed out on Tyreek, but I'll take the
Daniel got drafted in, right?
He did.
Sure did.
And speaking of Daniel, right back on the clock in the 7th round.
Yeah, so in the 7th round here, mind you, this is going to be a truncated draft, right? I probably wouldn't go quite this early. However, you call them onesie positions. I call them island positions. There's one guy that I have left at the tight end spot that I have as a tier, 3, which is a starter for me at the tight end spot.
Okay.
And for me, that's going to be Evan Ingram.
Nice.
Joker. Playing that Joker role in this Sean Payton offense. I would probably, like I said, wait a little bit longer, but knowing that I want to finish things out, I want to make sure that I can grab him here because after that, tight end just feels like it turns to dust. No offense to any of the other guys that are on the board, but
called him dust.
I thought it did a while ago.
Yeah.
And by the way, since you said no offense, they can't actually take offense.
Exactly.
So you're totally in the clear there.
Does anyone have a box of tissues?
Did you want him?
Probably, yeah.
That's your guy.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Moody's getting sniped all night.
Take one of the rookies.
Wow.
Look at that. Box of tissues.
Thank you to Kevin Pulsifer, ace researcher and very fast researcher.
Don't look at me.
Yeah. I'm sorry, Moody. Liz Loza on the clock here, pick 65.
I know what she's going to do.
Wow. Why don't you tell America what Liz is going to do then?
I will.
Well, you want to do? Maybe. Try.
I mean, she's going to draft a wide receiver for her team that she loves, that she's been eyeing in every single draft, and she thinks he's going to be the #1 wide receiver in that offense by the end of this year.
Are you saying Rome wasn't built in a dune's egg? Is that what you're saying?
I think that it is clear that Stephania and I spend a good amount of time together, but I am actually going to zag and not zig. I'm going to hit the running back position.
In your face.
I am going to, some might say reach. I think this person is completely undervalued. Isaiah Pacheco did bust last year. That's what happens when a player breaks their leg in the second game of the season. And to your point, Stephania, comes back way too early. So I would like the running back, the primary ball carrier who is attached to Patrick Mahomes.
Okay. Actually, I will say, and I think people might say he came back too early, but when your team is making a Super Bowl run and a player can get back on the field, they want to be there, and you understand why the team, if it's medically safe, you want them out there. But people looked at him and said, oh, Isaiah Pacheco is not the same guy. Well, you try and be the same guy coming back off that injury right away. But now, after the offseason, coming back in, I think he's being totally undervalued.
Really
I love Isaiah Pacheco this year.
Thank you.
Stephania, would you have considered taking him at 66, which is where we find you now on the clock?
I'm going to take Rome Odunze.
All right. Nice job.
I do love Rome Odunze, and I think that's why Liz and I are so simpatico on this. I really think, Caleb Williams sought him out. He wanted him on his squad, and it was obvious that they were developing a little thing last year. And I think that's maybe why some of the DJ Moore luster has fallen off. I really think Rome Odunze makes a leap this year, and if all things go well in Chicago, and look, Rome Odunze is my flex. If it is, that's great.
Non-zero chance he finishes as the Bears' #1 wide receiver.
Correct.
Damien Woody once wore the number 67 during his football playing career.
Correct.
He is now on the clock at pick 67.
Yeah, listen, I just think, we talked about Patrick Mahomes, and might have been the worst offensive cast around him last year. I think it's going to be a lot better in Kansas City this year. I'm going Patrick Mahomes here.
There you go. Patrick Mahomes, who lasts until the 7th round, of course, for people. This is a fantasy football draft. Some seem to not understand that. He's definitely going to have a better year than these past couple of seasons. He's had just 8 total games over the last 2 years with 20 or more fantasy points, but all the rhetoric out of Kansas City surrounds their desire to be more explosive this season. Eric, Moody, have the tears been cleaned? Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. I'm ready. I'm going to go with Teteroa McMillan.
Oh, okay.
I like that.
Yeah, and so what I like about him, I'm like, he's tall. You know, he's 6'4", physical receiver, like from a film perspective. But I look back at Arizona. I'm like, he handled a massive 34% target share. Yeah. And class high 52% air yard share last season, at Arizona. And you look at this Panthers team. He doesn't really have much competition at all to be their number 1 receiver. I know Clay has him projected. My memory serves me right. For 121 targets. And so I'm like, you're getting a number 1 receiver for a team with an up-and-coming quarterback in Bryce Young at this stage of the draft. I'm in.
I'd like to know how many players projections Mike has memorized.
Very few.
Very few. But 121 sounds about right to you?
I mean, it is. Technically, it's 121.2 targets.
Wow.
Wow.
It was a good effort.
Attention to detail matters.
Yeah. I mean,
Anita Marks.
You
got to be better, Eric.
2 picks left in round 7. You're up next. Who do you got?
Did I mention I can't stand drafting at 9? This is really
Shedeur Sanders, would you consider taking him with the T-shirt you have on?
Now's your chance.
Yeah. He may not make it back around.
Is he going to play 1 snap this season in the regular season? I don't think so.
Wow. I think more than 1.
Yeah, I don't think so. So, the conversation that we had during the break, I'm going to go with Jaylen Warren. I think the Pittsburgh Steelers with Aaron Rodgers there, I think they're going to have to run the football. And
interesting
right now,
that he goes ahead of Caleb Johnson. Understandable, but interesting.
Again, based on the conversation we had during the break, this is the benefit of being here with Dan and Schefter.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Jaylen Warren.
Caleb Johnson's got a pass block and to play with Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
And Jaylen Warren pass blocks his what all. So I think he's going to trust Jaylen Warren.
Even like when Najee was on that team, I just felt like I loved watching Warren run. Like I felt like Warren, like I loved he reminds me of a Pacheco when he runs. I always thought he was the better back anyway.
Yeah.
But
we'll see what kind of volume he gets. If he reaches 15 carries in a game this season, it'll be the first time since at least the 2023 season. He had 0 games with 15 carries last year. But Najee was still around. Schefter, our final pick of round 7. What are you thinking?
It's all about value. And there's a player here who's rated as the 63rd overall player. This is the 70th pick. I need a quarterback, and I'll take Baker Mayfield at pick number 70.
I like it, Schefter. There are questions about regression just because the way that he plays is less. As am I. I have as my quarterback 6 this year, ahead of the likes of Patrick Mahomes and Bo Nix and Brock Purdy. He was electric last season, and the Bucs have perhaps the deepest group of skill players and a very good offensive line in the entire NFL. So 7 quarterbacks have been taken now. 3 people have yet to take a quarterback. I doubt anybody will take 2, but there's still some opportunity for those to pounce on their signal callers. That includes the likes of Bo Nix heading into UC year 2, plus Kyler Murray, and the always up and down nature to his game. We'll see whether either of those quarterbacks comes off the board. Coming up next here on our fantasy draft on our SportsCenter special.
This is SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
What's up, friends? All right, diving into a few questions here for you. First one comes from Lone Survivor Ryan. He says, I have the 12th pick and the last pick in my league. I'm projected to have Nico, Brian Thomas Jr., Ashton Genty, and Derrick Henry available. Who should I take back to back? you are not going to go wrong with any of these guys, but if you're asking me what I would do, and it sounds like you are, I would go with Ashton Genty and Nico Collins. Nico absolutely has the wide receiver 1 potential in the entire NFL. I know there's a lot of really good wide receivers, but when you look at how good he is, if he can stay on the field and C.J. Stroud continues to get better, I love Nico as a low-end wide receiver, one that has even more upside given the deep shots that they take there. And for me, it's got to be Ashton Genty. I love Derrick Henry. The dude is a unicorn. He is one of the only guys that has been able to do it this late in his career. But Ashton Genty is just going to get so much work in this Raiders offense. There's no way that I can pass on that guy. Plus, he catches the ball quite a bit better than Derrick Henry does. I think he'll be utilized in the passing game more, which gives him a little bit more volume for me. So I'm going to go with Ashton Genty and Nico Collins there. All right. Rob's 323. Next one says, which rookie will have a better season? Ashton Genty, Caleb Johnson, Trey Henderson, R.J. Harvey, or Quinshon Judkins? I'm going to rank these because I think to me, it's very clear Ashton Genty is going to have the best season of them all. After that, I would probably go with Travion Henderson with everything that he could potentially do in that Patriots backfield. Travion's in a spot where I don't think any of us would be shocked if by the time you get to week 8, he's taken over as the lead back in this Patriots team. I don't think that Ramondre Stevenson is a guy that's necessarily going to be able to hold him off long term, and so I think he could be a potential league winner towards the end of the season. After that, I would do R.J. Harvey, and then from there fill out the rest of those guys. All right, next one we have comes from Tobias Barkley. Would you rather get an elite tight end in your top 3 rounds or an elite quarterback in your top 3 rounds? Great question. Attacking the island positions is really important this year because they dry up much quicker than running back and wide receiver. But I think the one position that dries up the fastest is tight end. I would get one of those elite guys, Brock Bowers, Trey McBride, or George Kittle. If you can get one of those 3 in the first 3 rounds, you have such a huge positional advantage over the rest of your league mates. You can find a good quarterback in the 5th or 6th or 7th round still that utilizes their legs. So I'm going to go tight end here with that pick. Great question, though, Tobias. All right. That's going to do it, guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you soon.
Back here on our fantasy mock draft, round 7 in the books. Take a look at the picture of the recap, I should say. A little bit of everything there. We had a couple of quarterbacks, receivers, tight end, and also, of course, a few running backs. Round 8 is upon us. Adam Schefter is now back on the clock, having just taken Baker Mayfield. Reminder, 45 seconds per pick. Here we go.
Yeah, I've gone back and forth here, Field, but I'm going to settle in on the Tennessee Titans. I already have Calvin Ridley. And there's a running back that's going to get a lot of work.
Yeah. Boring.
Tony Pollard. Boring, but effective, and I'll take him. Put Tony Pollard on my team right now as my number 3 running back.
Tajay Spears right now.
2 of the top 10 players in total touches last season have not yet been drafted or had not yet been drafted until round 8. Tony Pollard and Najee Harris. Every player ahead of them had already been drafted by a long shot. Pollard, not a super exciting player, but definitely presents a pretty solid floor for your RB3.
I like that offensive line, too. They've invested a lot of resources in that offensive line.
One of the worst a couple
great
years
Bill
ago.
Callahan as well, so they can run the rock there.
Anita Marks.
Good value.
Number 72.
So I need
Mike?
I got this.
Yes.
Actually, I'm going to a different Mike, and that's Mike Rentz, my good friend in Oakland, who's convincing me to take Jacoby Myers with my pick. And I'll read the text messages verbatim. He caught 87 balls last season and now has an upgrade at quarterback with Geno Smith. 0 drops, by the way. Has the 17th most catches the last 3 seasons with a bad quarterback. And, oh, by the way, is in a contract year. And we all know what that means.
Could have a new contract before the season starts as well.
Well, let's hope not.
Good. I mean,
want that motivation.
That's right. Yeah. Don't get content.
Yeah.
Slacking.
Eric Moody with Jacoby Myers now off the board. You're up.
All right, so Team Moody's going with
No tissue?
No, not for this one. I think the traps that have been set have worked well. I'm going to explain. So I'm going with Bo Nix here.
Oh,
and so
playing
I think what's fascinating here is that you got Bo Nix, who averaged 18.7 fantasy points per game last season, finishes a QB7. Great rapport with Cortland Sutton. And I know Clay mentioned in his playbook, it's on ESPN.com. Everyone should read
man.
that.
Appreciate that.
But the reason I'm saying that is because you mentioned don't overreach, for the big four. I'm like, if you miss out, you got Fields, Bo Nix, Brock Purdy. They have the rushing ability like in common. I'll close with this, Field, and we'll keep going.
Okay.
You always want to monitor the supply and demand of positions as you draft, and especially with those that are drafting around you. So I noticed, you ended up drafting Joe Burrow earlier, so I knew you weren't going to take a quarterback here. And Schefter, you drafted Baker Mayfield, and so I was like, I'm glad, because I was afraid you were going to get Bo Nix. So I played chicken. I won this round. We'll see what happens next.
Wow.
I like it. All right.
D. Woody, that leaves, by the way, just 2 teams that have yet to take a quarterback in this mock draft. D. Woody, you took Patrick Mahomes already, so probably not going to be a quarterback here. What will it be at 74?
It's going to be a running back. I'm going to go with David Montgomery.
Okay.
I'm going to go with David Montgomery.
Money in the bank.
Yep. Solid guy. Listen, Ben Johnson's not there, but Detroit, they're going to do what they do anyway. They're going to run the football, so I'm going to go with David Montgomery.
22 touchdowns over the past 2 seasons as a member of the Detroit Lions. A heart and soul player is David Montgomery.
Good.
Stephania, the great Stephania Bell, back on the clock. What are you thinking?
When you said you were going to take a guy who was a solid player, I thought you might be taking somebody away from me, but you didn't.
Oh.
Because I'm going to take Aaron Jones. And you know what? There's just no faith. No faith. People do not give him the credit that he deserves. He cast aside from his team. The Green Bay Packers went to Minnesota, found new life, and looked really good doing it. Aaron Jones is going to catch a lot of passes from J.J. McCarthy, and we like pass-catching running backs, so add him to my bench.
If you see, though, his name on the draft board here, it now says Aaron. It doesn't say Aaron Jones. It says Aaron Jones Sr. because he's 30 now. So if you just add that on, just so you know, you got to bump him down a few rounds.
I know.
I'm glad. I'm just glad.
Awkward silence.
Age-appropriate running back? Is that what I'm hearing?
I was expecting George Blanda.
Wow.
Too far the other direction.
I know. Yeah.
Look him up, kids.
Yeah, I know. Woody, don't laugh so much.
We got a long way to go this season, so I'm with you.
Man, only an hour left on this one here. A lot of unpredictability ahead. Liz, you're on the clock here. George Blanda, still available for the game.
I'm going to pass player, by the way. Daddy Blanda. Not my score. But I will say, you mentioned a solid player. Stephania mentioned a high floor solid player. I would also like to draft a high floor solid player at a island position like tight end. It's one Mr. David Njoku, who's averaged 8 targets in back-to-back seasons. I probably like him a little bit more than Evan Ingram because of his prowess in the red area of the field. I don't know who else is going to eat in Cleveland, so
Jerry Judy.
The only question that I have is who's throwing him the football.
It doesn't matter.
Sanders
Somebody
wearing
has
Anita Marks
to
t-shirt.
Everyone's throwing the football.
When you got 4 quarterbacks.
Yeah, first it'll be Joe Flacco, then it'll be Kenny Pickett. And
But you'll be happy with Joe Flacco,
That's
right?
right.
You get 8 games of Joe Flacco, you'll be feeling great about Njoku.
Fantastic.
We'll take that all day long.
Daniel back on the clock at 77.
Yeah, on the clock, and I already got
57.
4 really good wide receivers, so I'm going to attack the running back position here. I got to be honest, Joe Mixon's still on the board, and I still don't like it, so I'm going to go with Caleb Johnson.
Okay.
Good enough reason by me. We'll see whether Joe Mixon is even drafted in the potentially 11 rounds we get through tonight. Caleb Johnson, we'll see. He feels like a guy who probably has lost a little bit of steam so far this preseason, but volume's really good.
And I've got Devon Achane and Chase Brown. I can wait and let him be able to regain that steam before he even has to enter my starting lineup.
Pittsburgh feels to me like the potential for one of those backfields that just by the end of the year, it's just a total stay away, right? It's like neither one is valuable enough that he's a clear-cut starter in 10
Quit being
teams.
so mean to me. I'm going to fall in love with you. Come on.
Tyler, you're back on the clock.
All right, got to take my glove off to be able to operate this thing real quick. But we'll get back in business. I think I'm going to attack wide receiver again. This is going to be 4 in a row. A first-rounder last year who missed much of the season because of injury. A terrible injury, actually, but then came on late in the season and could see a significant boost in his opportunity this year. Ricky Pearsall. Ricky Pearsall.
Honestly, Stoic Stephania keeping her cool over there.
I was hoping that quietly he'd just make it back one more round. That's what I was hoping, but you listened to me.
He's a little down the board here, but I can't fault you for this one.
What was that again?
I wasn't talking to you.
Mike, you're back on the board here.
Yeah, I'm up here. So there's a lot of talk this round about getting safe guys, high floor guys, whatever. How about some upside here? I'm going to go with a guy that Field's been talking a lot about lately, Travis Hunter, early first-round pick this year. I know he's going to play a little on defense, but I expect a featured role on offense. This is the time of the draft where, look, we're talking. Here we go. I got a shirt. We're talking about our bench. We're talking about upside. What if Travis Hunter is a superstar player on offense and catches 80, 90 footballs? I'm going to take that chance in the 8th round of the draft.
Yeah.
Look at that.
That's an awesome shirt right there. Again,
that is a good shirt.
A little small, perhaps?
I know. Medium for Mike.
Am I misremembering, or did you bring in prior years, larger sizes to accommodate the entire table?
No, these are
They're always your own T-shirt.
always mediums.
Got it. Graz, final pick here of round 8.
I feel like I made a mistake with my last pick going Zay Flowers because I needed another running back, and a lot of running backs have gone since.
Would you have taken Caleb Johnson if he was here?
I don't know. I really don't know. I've got to reset. I think Mike did just do the first snipe that I've got, the Travis Hunter. I had my eye on him while I was thinking more about running back. So let me throw another receiver in there I really like, and I'll think about running back in the break. I'm going to go with Chris Olave.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, #1 receiver in New Orleans still. We don't know
who's going to be throwing him the ball.
But I think the value's right here for a guy that should be more productive than he's been.
He has a pair of 1,000-yard seasons on his resume, but man, what an interesting year it's going to be under center in New Orleans. Over 1.4, excuse me?
I was going to say, something I coming around to with New Orleans is how fast they might play with Kellen Moore.
That would be good. Over 1.4 million teams have been drafted. Get in on the action. We have multiple rounds left ahead. Graz back on the clock when we come back.
Yeah, I have the iPad, but there's nothing populated. Okay, so do I start? Okay, Ted Rosa has a question. How much does Ladd's stock fall with the return of Keenan and the drafting of Trey Harris? I think Ladd McConkey is being really overvalued. This is a player who could not stay healthy for the bulk of his college career, not necessarily a full-time player, though. When he did perform, he absolutely was a highlight reel player, but his peak is awfully high. You mentioned Keenan Allen coming back. I think he's overvalued. If he falls to you beyond like the 4th, great, but right now I would pass. So good idea there. Next, Samuel, what's more likely this year, Rome Odunze breakout or Marvin Harrison Jr. emergence? This is an interesting question. I am all in on the Rome Odunze breakout. He is an absolute alpha about to be unlocked. And you know what? I'm going to take that over the Marvin Harrison Jr. emergence, even though Marvin Harrison Jr. has these NFL bloodlines that are absolutely elite, because I think that Caleb Williams is ultimately a better passer than Kyler Murray. Next is Sean Salem. Should you always fill out your starters before going bench? No, because you could wait on either quarterback or tight end if you decide to stream. So I don't think you necessarily have to start out. You should probably just take the best player available at the time and not get too in your head about strategy. Next question, KP. Kenneth Walker III or Alvin Kamara? Give me Kevin Walker III. Might want to consider insuring him with Zach Charbonnet later when you're taking flyers around the 14th round. One more, last one. Respect 707X. Would anyone draft Travis Hunter and the Jags D? Interesting question, I'm sure, noting that Travis Hunter is a two-way player. Plenty of people are going to draft Travis Hunter. He's obviously special. He wouldn't have won the Heisman Trophy and been drafted second overall this past April, if not. The question is how much. I think you want to either draft Travis Hunter or the Jags D, but I wouldn't do both because we like to diversify all of the portfolios. Thanks so much.
We have one preseason game. It's the Cincinnati Bengals against the Washington Commanders. It's next Monday night right here on ESPN. Also available in Spanish on ESPN Deportes. Monday, August 18th, 8 p.m. Eastern Time with a special edition of Monday Night Countdown at 7 Eastern leading into the game. Take a look at the best available according to Mike Clay. I'm not going to lie, the last time we did this, Jerry Jeudy was also on the graphic. He is joined by 3 other wide receivers, all of veteran status: Chris Godwin, Cooper Kupp, and Stephon Diggs. Shout out to Roflo, for those that recall from way back in the day. Shout out to Cooper Kupp's hair. That is awesome.
Those are some good receivers. That shows you the depth of that position.
Yeah,
This
totally.
is unbelievable. We're all done. We all have our starting receivers. I think we all have our starting flexes, and those receivers are still sitting out there.
Round 9 is upon us. Dan Graziano.
Yeah, that's why I wish I had gone running back there at the top of round 7, but I didn't. I got to do it now. Brian Robinson Jr., low ceiling, solid floor.
Yeah, totally dependable, right?
They're going to get the ball at the goal line. Yeah, Brian Robinson Jr. for my third running back.
Yeah, I mean, they'll play, obviously, some of him and Austin
Sure.
Eckler. There's been plenty of discussion about Ja'Cory Krosky Merritt, 6th-round pick.
Robinson wasn't super healthy last year either, so if he is, maybe there's more to come.
He was awesome last year.
None of these guys are signed past this year, so everybody's got motivation.
Yep. Mike Clay, right back to you at pick number 82. Mike, you've been very patient at both quarterback and tight end.
I have. So, again, my game plan going in is to get one of the top 4 quarterbacks and certainly one of the top tight ends. However, again, I'm not going to force things if the board's not going that way. So if that doesn't work out and I have to pivot, I'm not going to now just take kind of a middling quarterback or tight end. I'm just going to wait at those positions and load up everywhere else. So that's what I did today, and now I'm going to have to go with quarterback and tight end because I've been told I have no choice over the next couple of rounds. So, spoiler alert, I'm taking Kyler Murray.
You didn't see that part of the fine print.
No, I didn't. That's okay. I'm okay with that. Kyler Murray at this point in the draft is totally fine. He finished 12th in fantasy points per game at quarterback last season. That's the worst finish of his entire career. He's been a QB1 through and through his whole career, and I expect better production this season as Marvin Harrison goes into year number 2. So give me Kyler.
There you go. Kyler Murray goes off the board
Stacking Cardinals.
Yeah, a lot of Cardinals for Mike.
Oh, yeah, I got the stack. There you go. Yeah, Kyler Harrison.
Week 17
I mean, I knew what I was
the
doing.
Bengals, too.
Knew what I was doing the whole time.
Tyler and Mike have kept it so peaceful all throughout the night. I kind of felt like we were going to get some tension. Tyler, diva wide receiver on the board. What do you got?
Yeah, sorry. Dopp may be my new enemy after stealing his.
Again, I've taught you all so well. I don't need to.
4 straight wide receivers. Time to go back to the running back position and get some depth behind Jahmyr Gibbs and Breece Hall. Sean Payton knows how to produce running backs that produce fantasy points. I'll take J.K. Dobbins, who I could see it being a 50-50 split. Dobbins is going to probably have more of the work at the beginning of the season. He's probably more of the 2-down grinder, but Sean Payton always finds a way to throw footballs to his running backs. So maybe we see a year where Dobbins catches more balls than he ever has before. So I think he's good depth behind Jahmyr and Breece Hall.
Daniel Dopp, back to you, 84th overall.
I got to stop the slide here.
Okay.
It's just too far for Jerry Jeudy. I got to grab him. I don't really feel like I even need a wide receiver, but at this point, it's just taking the best player available on the board. He was top 12 in routes, targets, catches, yards, and total fantasy points last year. I made the joke, I don't know who's going to throw him the football, but he's clearly the wide receiver 1 and the number 1 pass catcher in that offense.
Yeah, a lot of people feel like what happened last year was more circumstance than it was talent-driven. Reminder, he was the 17th pick in the draft. This is not some out-of-nowhere wide receiver emerging for just a short period of time. This is a legit pedigree player who is in Cleveland without much competition for targets. Liz, back to you at 85.
There are 2 running backs that I am considering. One of them has many more red flags than the other. That's kind of a kink, but I am going to be a little bit smarter. Wow. I'm going to be a little bit smarter. What's up?
It's red.
And
it's a different fantasy draft. Tell me more.
Speaking of kinks, Cam Scadaboo's tape is fantastic, right?
Yeah,
we love it, but people fail to recognize, number one, that he's dealing with a soft tissue issue, and number two, that Tyrone Tracy is the Giants' #1 running back. He's going to start the season as the team's RB1, and I think that I am going to draft him for security, knowing that he is like my 4th RB at this point. So please give me Tyrone Tracy.
829 rushing yards last year for Tyrone Tracy. Played very well, taking over for Devin Singletary early on last season. And of course, as you all know, he can catch the ball. He was a wide receiver for 4 years in college. Stephania, what do you got at 86?
Well, Liz talks about zigging and zagging. I'll zag to your zig. I'm going to go with Cam Scadaboo.
All right.
I think that he will bypass your Tyrone Tracy as the RB1 by the time the season's over. I'm not that worried. Minor ailment for him right now. I think he showed his pass-catching ability, and he showed true, grit. Did you watch that bowl game?
Yeah.
I mean, he was losing his lunch, and he was still out there doing work. So
I concur.
I like tough
All 3
players.
ladies really watching that Scadaboo tape.
Yeah,
I
just like saying Scadaboo.
And I live.
We know, guys.
I live a Tyler 7-iron from the Giants facility.
And longer than most 7-irons, guys.
So you live 95 yards?
Frame of reference there.
At this point, is everything a metaphor?
That's a conversation for a different show as well.
We'll explain to you after the draft.
But I can tell you that the Giants love him, love everything about him, and so I'm with you, Stephania.
Yep.
I think he's going to have.
And Adam, he fits my demographic.
He shatters the mold.
Oh, man. Sacramento State's finest to Arizona State's 2. That's Stephania's team. Damien, pick 87.
Yeah, I'm going to go with.
Damien's like, get me out of this conversation.
That was the perfect time for a Damien side. We needed it to just reset this thing.
Yes, absolutely. I'm going to go with Jordan Addison.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Jordan Addison. I think, obviously suspended first 3 games, but I think as J.J. McCarthy starts to cook and really get out of speed, Jordan Addison's going to come through big time latter part of the season.
All right. So let's keep it moving. All right.
That's you, Moody. Yeah. Let's do it.
Team Moody is going with Mark Andrews.
Okay.
Thank you. So just a little context here. I'm going to piggyback off of what Mike Clay mentioned when he was on the clock. You don't want to force things like in the fantasy football draft. I saw a message from my friend Sean Stone who was like, well, what are you going to do at tight end? And I'm like, I'm thinking as we go through this, I'll watch each and every one of you in this draft select the tight end. I just made a mental note of it. And I knew once we got to this stage of the draft, you're unlikely to take a tight end. But I'm looking at Mike Clay. I was like, Mike Clay does not have a tight end or a quarterback. So I was wondering if you were going to take Mark Andrews. So you took Kyler Murray. So I knew I was going Andrews here.
Yeah. I'm glad you took him because I don't want to. I'm nervous about him after what we saw last season. I know he scored the touchdowns and bailed you out, but the targets dwindled, and that is a big concern for me going forward. I still don't have an explanation.
I get it, but early part of the season, early is all they got.
But here's one other thing to consider with this, though, is that going back to your projections, I'm like, you have Mark Andrews, if my memory serves me right, projected for the 2nd most targets on this team. And this is the Ravens team that ends up ranking, they led the league in total yards, and they finish 3rd in points scored. Now I get it. Tight end at this stage of the draft isn't ideal. It doesn't have a lot of sizzle. It's not sexy. But at this stage of the draft, I'm like, you can't pass up on a guy like Mark Andrews.
It could end up being such a huge value pick with Isaiah Likely now is injured. And also Mark Andrews there was a car accident we didn't hear much about. He was banged up to start last season. And he is a red zone threat. I think, you talk about your regression? Say he regresses the other direction.
We need targets to go up. If the touchdowns are going down, we need targets up.
Anita, you're on the clock at number 89.
I'm going to go with the wide receiver who I think is going to be #1, and I think he's going to have a quarterback that can actually throw the football to him, and that's Michael Pittman Jr., because I do believe Daniel Jones is going to win the job. If he doesn't win it at the beginning, I do believe that Daniel Jones is going to be the starting quarterback at some point in time. I would not take Michael Pittman Jr. if it was Anthony Richardson, because I don't think Anthony Richardson could throw the football.
One of my favorite targets in this range this year. 3 straight top 20 fantasy seasons before the disaster that was last year. So I'm with you. That's a Daniel Jones pick right there. If he starts, he should be in good shape.
There you go.
With some pacing, we'll get through 2 more rounds after we conclude round 9. But Schefter is still on the clock for number 90.
We're going to take a player ranked 78. Matthew Golden.
One of my favorite sleeper, yeah.
Green Bay
Your
Packers.
favorite sleeper overall. Yeah.
At pick number 90.
That's the guy I was really debating between.
So we'll take him. We'll be happy with him. And
Extensive injuries to the Packers wide receiver corps right now. Pretty much everybody besides Matthew Golden.
They can't stop raving about him in Green Bay, too.
No surprise, he was the 22nd pick overall after running a 4.29 40 at the Combine. Take a look one more time at the recap of round 9. We had 4 running backs off the board, 4 wide receivers to match it, plus Mike and Moody took a quarterback and a wide receiver to get us to 10 selections. Plenty more ahead here, at least 2 more rounds, with some pace at least going forward.
Yeah, we got Samuel with the question on NFL ESPN. Can Chris Godwin get back to being a wide receiver 1 this year? That's a really great question. Listen, the one thing about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their skill position room is stacked. You know, they drafted Mecca Ibuka out of Ohio State. Mike Evans is there. I don't think he'll get back to wide receiver 1. He'll be one of these auxiliary pieces, but that room is just so stacked with so many skill position players. I just don't see it happening. Let's see here. All right, this is from Ryan Gooding. Tron, what QB did you like if you didn't get Patrick Mahomes? That's a good one. I was really eyeing Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix in the second year in the Sean Payton offense, I think he's going to be dynamic. We know that Bo Nix is a very efficient quarterback, but I like the fact that he's dual threat. He uses his legs as well. So Bo Nix, for me, was the guy I was eyeing. All right. This one from Luis Fonseca. If Lamar, Allen, and Jaden get taken early, should I wait and draft other top players? Yeah, I mean, listen, there's like 4 quarterbacks that I would attack early in the draft, and after those 4, I would definitely wait on the quarterback position. I mean, there's a lot of guys that you can go after. We've seen Baker Mayfield. Myself, I went Patrick Mahomes, but you can definitely wait to draft a quarterback later on in the draft. Okay, so we got B831. Does Isaiah Pacheco have a good comeback season? Well, I do think so. Listen, Isaiah Pacheco had the injury, that took away most of the season last year. I mean, remember, like, this is one of the more explosive running backs they have. The Kansas City Chiefs have upgraded their offensive line. They still want to run the football in Kansas City. So I think he's primed for a bounce back season in Kansas City. All right.
Welcome back to SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Jameer Gibbs, running back.
Give me your jersey. Oh, I'm so sorry, Tyler. Does that hurt your feelings? I'm taking Tyreek Hill.
I'm going with George Kittle.
No, you're not. Oh,
George Kittle.
Are you personal now?
Yeah,
Is that what just happened?
Please don't hate. Please don't hate me.
Great value for Woody all night.
Oh, there you have it. Some sniping has taken place as we enter round 10. We're going to go rapid fire here, 45 seconds apiece. Adam Schefter, you're on the clock at number 91 overall.
Field, I filled all my positions. I've talked about value all night. We're here at pick 91, and there's a quarterback on the board I think is a good player, Brock Purdy. 89, we'll take him right now.
There you go.
That's personal. You know, there's only one of us that doesn't have a quarterback.
And that would be you, right?
You don't need a second quarterback. He's not even going to play for your squad. Who's your first quarterback?
Baker Mayfield. I got 2 choices now.
You got matchup. Pick a matchup.
We got the Cleveland Browns over here drafting multiple quarterbacks. No big deal.
Never know.
Anita Marks on the clock.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a wide receiver that Brock Purdy was throwing to last year, and that's Deebo Samuel in Washington with the Commanders. You know, I know we're all anticipating that Terry McLaurin's going to get the deal done. But, you know, if he does, I think it opens up things for Deebo Samuel in the middle of the field. If he doesn't, Deebo Samuel becomes number 1. We were talking about it.
Deebo.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Right?
All right. So Team Moody is going with Javonte Williams.
Ooh.
All right. Yeah. So like you got a running back in Dallas who's you know, projected to be the top guy. I know Jaden Blue's there.
It's hurt though.
Yeah, and all
Right
these
now,
other.
I'm dealing with a little bit of a heel issue, I think.
Yeah.
Jaden Blue. Yeah.
I'm looking at how this.
Jaden Blue, not Javonte.
Yeah, but I'm just like I'm looking at Williams here as my RB4. Like really can't go wrong with that. So.
Solid dart throw.
Yeah.
Damien Woody at pick 94.
Yeah, I'm going to go with another quarterback.
Okay.
Another quarterback.
You had 9 rounds.
That's a good point.
I'm going another quarterback. I'm going Justin Fields.
Okay, there we go.
The Jets are going to run a
inside.
ton this year.
Yeah.
And Justin Fields, particularly in the red zone, that rushing attack, going there.
Yeah, saw that
like
rushing attack in specifically for Justin
Once a
Fields
Jet,
in week
always a
1 of the
Jet.
preseason. Yeah.
You got Brees Hall on your squad too, right? Getting
No,
I got.
he got Brees. Yep,
All right.
yep.
Stephania, 95 overall. What do you got?
I'm going to take a wide receiver that I have been liking a lot from our mock draft times now, and that's Emeka Egbuka.
Wow.
Really like
That
him.
drew some
It was-
frustration from the rest of the table.
I
Nicely
know.
done.
It makes me happy.
Yeah.
Abuka goes over Chris Godwin. Very
How about
interesting.
that?
Well,
Wow.
I think, listen, you know I'm a little bit risk averse, and Chris Godwin had to have a second surgery and is doing well, but there's not a timeline for him to come back. And with the 3-year deal, if I'm the Buccaneers, I want to ensure that he's able to play that out. So there's no reason to rush him.
Liz Loza on the clock at 96.
Field, I like dollars, I like diamonds, I like Stephon Diggs catching passes from Drake May.
Okay, Cardi.
Aha, I see what you did there. Stephon Diggs, okay, number 96 overall. He is
I didn't get
also coming, I believe it
Dan needs a pop culture lesson.
I didn't get it either.
Cardi B line you just dropped right there?
I like Sutton, I like Shiny. Oh, okay.
Yep.
I didn't get it.
You don't have that t-shirt?
I like that.
Stephon Diggs also coming off of an injury. Unlike Chris Godwin, he has been available for basically the entirety of Patriots training camp. No PUP list for him. Daniel Dopp, 97 overall.
All right. Field, I like
think you need a
cupcakes,
quarterback.
I like puppies, and I like Dak Prescott. Right? For what it's worth.
I didn't get that one either.
If I got to wait this long to be able to draft a quarterback, and I got 2 hooligans that are just doing who knows what in the draft, Dak Prescott is the guy that's my next highest rated quarterback. He's my QB 11. We've seen him be a literal MVP candidate just a few years ago. And Moody, earmuffs, I know you just drafted the running back. I'm not concerned about the rushing attack here. Adding George Pickens, got CeeDee Lamb. I think Jake Ferguson, maybe someone Mike would target later on in the draft, looking for a tight end. I just think they're going to throw the ball a heck of a lot in Dallas this year.
Tyler Fulghum back on the clock at pick 98.
This is a little bit of a risk. He might be cooked, but if he's not, Cooper Kupp. is a guy in a PPR format who could be a nice security blanket for Sam Darnold and catch 5, 6, 7 passes each and every game. So on the bench, I like Cooper Kupp.
I wanted you to do worse so bad tonight. you're doing a good job. I like Cooper Kupp a lot, too. That's a good pick.
All right, Mike, pick 99 to you.
Yep, well, I gotta fill a gap in the lineup here, so we're going tight end, and I'm going to go for the ceiling play here. There's a safe option, Tucker Kraft. I'm going to go for ceiling with Colston Loveland. A rookie tight end has led the position in fantasy points 2 years in a row. That doesn't mean it's going to happen again, but the position seems to be evolving, and Loveland was an early first-round pick for a reason. Also, one of those guys that was a rookie tight end that led the position in fantasy points 2 years ago was Sam Laporta.
It was.
His
offensive coordinator is now the head coach.
Was of course Ben Johnson, who's now Colston Loveland's coach. So give me Loveland.
We have gotten through 99 picks, which brings us to the last pick of round 10, number 100 overall, Dan Graziano.
I normally take everything Stephania says as gospel, but at pick 100, Chris Godwin, the value is too good to pass up. If he does come back this year, he was pacing to be an absolute monster last year. I got to take him.
He was like a top 8 wide receiver last year when he was playing.
Yeah.
Even if you get half a season of Chris Godwin, that could be at close to peak
level. The plan is for him to come back. I'm just saying.
Yeah, no, I got you.
No.
Great value.
All right, there you have it, 100 picks in, which that number is a lot, but it pales in comparison to the number of teams drafted so far. 1.432 million. Join in on the action by heading over and joining ESPN Fantasy. We can't wait for you to be a part of our team this season, and we still have more drafting coming up next.
All right, first question here I have is from Alexander H. It is, who do you like better as a lottery ticket, a quarterback, Drake May, Kyler Murray, or Cam Ward? So I do have Kyler Murray ranked the highest, but we're talking lottery ticket, right? And I don't know what Kyler Murray's ceiling is. Maybe it's a mid-range quarterback one, but Drake May's more of an unknown, and there's some excitement of the unknown, and perhaps Drake May is the next superstar quarterback in the NFL. He can run the ball. He can throw the ball. We've heard Field Yates say maybe, he'll have some Josh Allen to him in the run game, and obviously a much better supporting cast that he had last year when, by the way, he was mid-pack in QBR. So with the combination of all those things, better supporting cast, Drake May, definitely a very fun lottery ticket this season. All right, next question comes from Samuel. Could Joe Mixon still get 1,000 yards and 7 touchdowns? Well, if you saw his usage last season when he was healthy, the answer is clearly yes. He was pushing for around 25 touches a game in a very good Houston Texans offense. So I think the answer is yes. The question is, when does he come back? I know my colleague Stephania Bell has talked about this. She's concerned about him. Will he miss a few weeks? Will he be the same guy when he comes back? So I'm trying to avoid this backfield, but at this point, Joe Mixon is falling so far in drafts that if you can get him with a late flyer, it's not the worst thing because, hey, we've been surprised before. Maybe he suits up in week 1 and has 22 touches. So the answer is yes, but it's looking a little tenuous right now. All right, next one comes from KP. Javonte Williams, worth a late round selection. Absolutely. Just went in our draft. That backfield is wide open, but it could just be a volume play. If Javonte Williams beats out Miles Sanders, which shouldn't be too hard, and Jaden Blue, who I like as a late flyer, but obviously is not a sure thing, then maybe Javonte Williams gets his way to 200 carries and 40 catches, and if so, he's going to be well worth that late pick. All right, next one. How likely is Field Yates to aggravate his shoulder injury in the Bahamas? Great question. Look, we have put some plans in place. We're going to try to protect him. I'm checking an entire bag of bubble wrap. We're going to make sure to keep him safe this season. I'm not going to let him do the obstacle course, all right? All of the rest of us did it, and we survived just fine. But we're going to have the old man stand to the side and not get injured this season. All right, one more from Daniel. Kettlehead, how am I just learning that Mike Clay played on the Eagles 2009 to 2011? I don't know what this means, but the Eagles special teams coordinator. I know what you're talking about. The Eagles special teams coordinator Michael Clay. He was on the team for a little while, I believe. That must be what you're referring to. So that's all we got from there. But that's it.
Round 11 here on the clock for our fantasy draft. Let's get things rolling again with Dan Graziano, pick 101.
Gonna need a running back here again. Still don't like my choices. I don't know how it's gonna shake out in Jacksonville, but Travis Etienne's only a year removed from being a top guy. I'm gonna take a shot on Travis Etienne.
One of the most interesting backfields in the entire NFL right now is down in Jacksonville. Mike, pick 102.
I will take a quarterback lottery ticket. I'm going to go with Drake May in New England. Better supporting cast. He can run the ball. He could throw it. A lot to like there. It could be the breakout player in fantasy this year. Give me Drake May.
And
My guy.
a T-shirt. Yes. Tyler Fulghum, pick 103.
Yeah, same thing. I'm just going to pick a running back, Ramondre Stevenson. We know Trevion Henderson is exciting, but Stevenson will have a workload, maybe even at the goal line where he can score.
Back-to-back Patriots off the board. Daniel Dopp, now you at 104.
I love that Tyler just drafted that scrub and didn't take the running back that I wanted, which is Jordan Mason. He's going to come off the board to me here. I need a third running back. I love him in this Minnesota backfield.
Okay, Jordan Mason, who of course got traded this offseason from San Francisco to Minnesota. Liz, 105.
It's an excellent pick, Daniel Dopp. You know what? I don't have a single Bear on my squad, and I don't really need a quarterback because I have Jalen Hurts. But why not draft Caleb Williams so that I can at least play along and not need to rely on him emotionally or in my fantasy?
A lot of upside.
Well.
It's a sign of faith right there from Liz. All right, Stephania, 106 to you.
I know I was debating what I was going to do here, but why not add a 49er just, to end my draft on a high note? I'm going to go with Juwan Jennings, even though, the talent we saw it last year and dealing with a calf/business issue. So, but he's deep on my bench. Deep on my bench. So when everything's resolved, and I believe that it will be, I'll have him available.
Every time he plays, he produces. Damien, 107 to you.
I'm going to go.
Oof. There it is.
Yeah.
That was it.
That was a hardy one.
It's round 11, so.
I'm going to go Jaden Blue.
Okay.
All right.
Blue, the lottery ticket in the
a great lottery
Cowboys
ticket.
backfield. Of course, they drafted 2 backs on day 3 of the draft. Blue out of Texas, and also Bill Maffa from Clemson. Blue can flat out scoot. Moody, last one, make it count.
All right, I'm going with Austin Eckler here. So
I agree.
End of analysis.
Speaks for itself.
I was about to get some words out, but no, I like Austin Eckler as a like in this case, he's what my RB 5.
Sure.
I'm like he's very capable as a receiver out of the backfield and as a rusher, and I feel good about him this year, especially from like a health perspective, despite like his age. So.
He could lead one of the best offenses in the NFL in snaps this year, and certainly he'll get opportunities in the passing games.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anita, you got a big stack of T-shirts still left. Will you take a player who is from that stack?
Yeah, we're too deep in the draft. I don't have.
Is that a Dak Prescott shirt? You didn't get
It is. It is. I'm sorry.
It's okay. I don't hold it against you.
Here
I'll hold
is
it
a
against
Dak
me.
Prescott. Wait, did you just take Caleb? There you go, sweetheart.
Oh, thank you.
I'm going to go with Jerome Ford.
I like it.
Right? Didn't they just, didn't their rookie running back get in trouble?
Quinshon Judkins, yes. He is facing some very serious allegations.
Ford should be busy early this year. Yeah.
There we go. Okay, done.
Or
Yay.
Dylan Sampson, too. Yep.
You want to go twice here quickly?
No, you can go once, but you can give us a preview of who you take in the next one.
Tajay Spears to now lock in the Titans backfield in its entirety. To go along with Tony Pollard, and I'll have an interesting pick coming up.
Okay. Well, we're actually not going to reveal any more of the picks, so you can just give us a hint if you want to.
It'll be a tight end.
Tight end. Okay. There you have it. Okay. 11 picks. How about that? 11 of the 10 picks, in the 11th round. That was a rapid-fire round. 1.44 million teams have been drafted. Can we push for 60,000 more drafts in the last 30 or so minutes of programming here? I believe that we can to get to that 1.5 million number. That will be excellent. We'll do some recaps and some more fun in just a bit.
All right, Tyler Fulghum back here with the digital show. Got more questions that have come from you, the people, which I love. NFL on ESPN from Samuel. Which QB wide receiver stack intrigues you the most? The Philadelphia Hurts A.J. Brown or the Baltimore
Lamar, Zay Flowers? Good question. That's a really good one. I am more intrigued by the Philadelphia one. I just think when you look at the quarterbacks, it's kind of a wash between Lamar and Jalen Hurts. Maybe a slight edge for Lamar, but I think there's a big difference at the receiver spot between A.J. Brown and Zay Flowers. A.J. Brown could lead the NFL in receiving yards. He could lead the NFL in receiving touchdowns. He's a grown-ass man out there. And as great as Zay is, that offense is probably not going to flow through him in the scoring area. He's probably capped at 6, 8, maybe 10 touchdowns. But AJ could give you 15 if he hits his ceiling. So great question, but I like the Philly side there. All right, the Marathon Mailbag continues. Where do you guys and gals have Tyler Warren's fantasy value? He's in the basement in ADP, but his target share should be high if A-Rich can actually throw the ball. It's a good point. Whether it's A-Rich or Daniel Jones, quarterback's iffy in Indy, but it appears the talent of Tyler Warren is not iffy at all. Mackey Award winner, absolute stud at Penn State. Not only is he a weapon in the passing game, but we saw him at Penn State get used around the goal line as a running back, as someone who could take those Wildcat carries. Maybe Shane Steichen will do the same thing. So I'm kind of with you here. I'm kind of surprised his ADP is so low, I should say. It's a first-round tight end, and I think they're going to build the offense kind of around him right away there in Indy. Next question from Kyle. Who will have a better season, Evan Ingram, Brenton Strange, or Elijah Arroyo? Rank if needed. All right. Boy, this is tough. I think Evan Ingram in the Joker role would be 1. Brenton Strange would be 2, and then Arroyo would be 3. Arroyo's intriguing, but that Seattle offense could be problematic if Sam Darnold's not protected. I think Bo Nix is going to be protected in Denver because Sean Payton's his coordinator and the offensive line talent's great. And then Strange is kind of somewhere in the middle. Excited about Liam Cohen, but he's going to be the 3rd or 4th option in that passing attack. So good questions in the Marathon Mailbag. Keep them coming because we're having fun answering these, whether it's me or one of my cohorts from down there. And let me know how you feel about my team, by the way, out there. I think I drafted a brand new team. Lamar Jackson, Adams, so right. Yeah, it's good stuff. We appreciate all the engagement with us here on the Fantasy Football Marathon.
You're watching SportsCenter Special, Fantasy Football Draft, presented by ESPN Bet Sportsbook.
Fill out our
UFC 319 Saturday night at the United Center in Chicago, highlighted by the middleweight title main event. Dricus du Plessis puts his belt on the line against Khamzat Chimaev. The prelims begin at 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and ESPN Plus in English and Spanish, with the main card at 10 Eastern, 7 Pacific on pay-per-view. Buy it at espnplus.com/PPV.
Fantasy football season is here, and you just got the link to join an ESPN Fantasy Football League. But don't know where to start? Don't worry. The ESPN Fantasy app is the answer with a brand new home feed personalized just for you. Just tap Join League in the app to find your invite. Then, use rankings, projections, and cheat sheets from ESPN's experts to enhance your draft strategy. On draft day, our live draft board in the Fantasy app upgrades your draft experience. Once your roster is set, access draft grades to see how ESPN experts think you performed. Download the ESPN Fantasy app or go to espn.com/fantasy to get started today.
All right, you guys still got Tyler Fulghum here on the Marathon Mailbag. It's the Fantasy Football Marathon, wrapping up the 24 hours of coverage here on ESPN and all of our platforms. But appreciate all the questions you've been bringing us. They're good. Aaron has this one about the Browns backfield. I'd love to know what you think of that backfield in Cleveland. Who's even starting? LOL. And That's an appropriate way to end any tweet or question about the Browns is LOL. I don't think they're going to be a very fun offense to invest in no matter how you're doing it. I guess right now with the uncertainty around Quinshon Judkins, Jerome Ford is the lead back to start the season. Dylan Sampson has a pretty good profile coming from Tennessee, a very young 20-year-old who had good production in the SEC at a elite school that went to a playoff. I kind of think he'd be the bet later in the season. But right now I think the safest Cleveland bet to make at running back is Jerome Ford. Kyler's got a question here. I like to pick my quarterback at the end of the draft. Geno, Darnold, or Bryce, 12-man team. Good question. I'm going to rule out Darnold, process of elimination. I think Bryce could make a leap, and Bryce has probably the most spry legs of that trio. Geno's a baller. He's a good passer, but at his age, he probably doesn't run as much as what we saw from Bryce at the end of last year. So I would lean Bryce ever so slightly, but I think pick your poison or pick the fruit that you like between Geno and Bryce. Of course, Geno does have Brock Bowers to throw to, and maybe Chip Kelly designing a great offense. So one of those two, I slightly lean Bryce, but have no issues with Geno. Are y'all sleeping on Michael Penix? Yeah, you're sleeping on Michael Penix. I think Penix could be a guy who leads the NFL in passing yards this year. The Atlanta defense is going to be bad, and he's got Drake London. He's got Darnell Mooney when he gets healthy. He's got Kyle Pitts. Bijan Robinson, not just a great runner, but he's great out of the backfield as well. So I'm all about that. He's a sleeper that I like at the quarterback position. Kyler with another one here. Tyler's pick of Jahmyr Gibbs at the beginning might be a reach. No more Ben Johnson. Are you kidding me? Did you see what Jahmyr Gibbs did last year at the end of the season when David Montgomery was banged up? Imagine if that happens again. Who cares if Ben Johnson's there or not? Dan Campbell knows how good Jahmyr Gibbs is. You can build an offense around him. You can feed him 20, 25 touches, and he could be the #1 overall player in fantasy. I still think his talent and his production is ascending, so I'm glad I got him. I don't think it's a reach at all. As a matter of fact, I think if you grab him with the first overall pick in a full PPR draft, that's not a reach. Not to me, at least. That's not a reach at all going #1. So I think he's a value at 3. This is a good one. Whose hands are smaller, Tyler's or Kenny Pickett's? I'll have to go to the combine and officially get measured here. This is technically an extra large, but I think I needed just a large. We'll say Kenny Pickett. Well, we'll at least give Kenny Pickett that because I don't think he's going to get a starting job in Cleveland this year. All right. Thank you again for the questions. Fun and serious. Marathon mailbag. A lot of fun. Good luck to all of you with your fantasy teams this year.
Glad I don't have to wear one of those.
Oh, you have the towel and everything.
We're back. Over 1.45 million teams have been drafted. It's time for us to do a little bit of Professor Clay action as he works through his favorite and perhaps not favorite teams. In our mock draft here, we have an esteemed panel of 10 drafters. Mike Clay has found the 2 teams he likes the most and one that he is not quite as optimistic on. Mike, would you like to reveal said teams?
Yeah, we'll start with the team I'm viewing as the second best team in the draft, and that belongs to Daniel Dopp.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Come on up here.
Curry some favors.
Stand by field.
After that rough start to your night, look at that.
I know.
Here's and that's Team Dopp selection.
There's your squad. So you did wait a quarterback. I think quarterback's a spot you're going to have to work on, but we're going to look at waivers after this draft. You're still going to have some options out there, so not worried about Dak Prescott there, but love the running backs. Devon Achane and Chase Brown
great about
are going to catch a ton of footballs. Everyone knows I was always really high on Devon Achane. Everyone knows that.
Everyone knows
Tyler,
you
but
were the
I was the guy that was on him. Love the wide receivers with Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Garrett Wilson. I asked you that question, but it didn't mean I didn't like it. It was good value. Rashee Rice, of course, Jerry Jeudy. Your bench is loaded with starting caliber options, and Evan Ingram at tight end. So like me, you waited at
quarterback and tight end, and it came together very nicely.
Daniel, talk us through your team's mindset right now. Is your team motivated to win the Super Bowl this year? We just happen to be part of the show.
100%. Listen, I'm one of those Dan Campbell guys. It's all about grit and biting off kneecaps, and this is what this squad is made of, right? So we're doing it. We're going to repeat it again here.
So you were the not best team, but you were the second best team, which means that somebody had the best team. In Mike Clay's eyes, that team was.
Yeah, I just want to say that before I say who this team is, this person has threatened me in the past on this show if I gave them a bad grade. However, this is not why I'm giving Damien Woody an A+.
Oh my goodness!
Well done. Crushed it. And this is just value-based drafting. Just crushed it the whole way. Gets Patrick Mahomes at quarterback. The running backs are Saquon Barkley, James Conner, David Montgomery.
A lot of Eagles.
Yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about that.
Someone cracked the grading system.
How many people watching right now are going to get Saquon Barkley at 7 this year?
Yeah. Very few.
No one. Not to mention A.J. Brown at 27. So you have A.J. Brown, Nico Collins, Cortland Sutton, Jordan Addison at wide receiver, and George Kittle at tight end. Top to bottom, just a very good, solid squad that's going to compete. Well done.
Steve,
This would be like having Trent Williams, prime Zach Barton, your former teammate Nick Mangold at center. Just keep it rolling all the way across.
Yeah, we're
in a fantasy version.
Yeah, we're pounding the sand, baby. We're good to go. I just follow my gut, man. I just follow my gut. Led me to the right direction.
Am I right to guess, Stephania, that you like this team because you got sniped by Damien a couple times?
I did get sniped by Damien a couple times. That's good drafting, I also set you up to get that value with Saquon Barkley because I took CMC.
That is true.
I gave you the assist in the Mike Clay grading.
Well, you're a great teammate.
This is granddad strength right here.
I look out for you.
That's what it is.
It's Damien's granddad strength coming into play.
Yes, very much so.
All right, well, unfortunately, there has somebody who did not do so great in Mike's eyes. Mike, ever the gracious teammate, has decided to call that person out on national TV.
I did. But before I do that, I just want to say something, Tyler. I just want to before I get to that, I just want to say, look, people don't know this, but this is a marathon for all of us. But for Tyler, it was truly a marathon. You were up at 4 a.m. yesterday.
That's true.
To host 7 a.m. Sports Center.
That's true.
Then you were doing EBL, Sports Center throughout the day.
Are you saying I drafted like a tired person today?
You did FF Now last night, more TV all day today. This draft, you clearly didn't get much sleep, and I just got to say, it showed. It showed. His draft results here.
Wow.
Yeah. 0. That's how many championships. It turned out that was appropriate. It turned out that worked out beautifully.
What? Jahmyr Gibbs? Trey McBride?
Yeah.
Lamar Jackson?
What don't
There's
you
no
like
way.
about the team?
I think
your grading
like about
your grading system's off.
The problem is you just sniped everyone and you were rude about it, Tyler. I think that's why we didn't get the draft.
Attitude.
I mean, honestly, I had to put you last on principle at this point.
Yeah. The team has now been revealed.
I had to put you last on vibes, right? Is that okay?
I'm sitting here staring at this team for the record. I like it, Tyler.
Shefty likes it. Field likes it.
Jahmyr Gibbs, Trey McBride, Lamar Jackson, and Devontae Adams. Hello.
I know.
What don't you like about
Hall? He doesn't like Tyler.
Oh, yeah, I don't like Tyler. I don't like the guy. It's like sometimes we're like, that team's really talented, but the coaching's a concern. That's it. I mean, he's going to run this thing into the ground.
They got a diva head coach.
Yeah, that's
I think Tyler needs one of these two guys to have a decent role in his offense, J.K. Dobbins or Ramondre Stevenson, because Breece Hall can make you a little bit nervous as your RB2.
Yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and say like anyone did a bad job because we all know what we're doing. We all drafted very well, but I just on principle just had to go after Tyler. I mean, it's a tradition. It's a marathon tradition every year.
Sorry, that's not for you, Shefty. That's for down there.
That could be for me.
Down there.
Mike is saving his venom for Sundays on Fantasy Football now.
Yeah.
Can't wait for that. By the way, these are just 10 of the 1.456 million teams that have been drafted so far already. Be part of the millions of people that have joined ESPN Fantasy and enjoy an incredible experience with that sweet new look app. And we're going to put a bow on the 2025 Fantasy Football Marathon just after this. Tyler Fulghum might change an outfit again. Who knows? It's been that kind of day.
What's up, chat? All right, first question here. I'm already in love with this question. Daniel wants to know, why are people sleeping on Amon-Ra St. Brown? Do we really think a new coordinator is going to slow down this Lions offense? Absolutely not, Daniel. Fantastic question. I don't think it's the fact that it's going to slow down the offense. It's more the idea that Amon-Ra St. Brown might have the highest floor in fantasy football, but unlike those other wide receivers that are going in the first, I don't think he has the same ceiling to potentially finish as wide receiver 1. A guy like Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and CeeDee Lamb, they all have the ability to do that. Puka Nacua, Malik Neighbors, with the way that they are utilized in their offense, most of those offenses don't have the same number of mouths to feed that the Lions do. That's the only reason why Amon-Ra is a little bit lower, but he is absolutely one of the safest guys in the draft and should still be a wide receiver 1 taken in the first round. All right. Brom Knows asks, does Stafford potentially scare you for Davante Adams or Puka Nacua managers? Great question. No. Honestly, if you want to use it as a tiebreaker to say, you know what, rather than grab Puka Nacua, I'll grab Amon-Ra or Malik Neighbors because they're all going right next to each other, I'm fine doing that. But I'm not worried about Matthew Stafford's back yet. This dude is an Iron Man. He has been an unbelievably tough quarterback throughout his career. I think the Rams are just trying to manage his health and make sure that he has the ability to play deep into the season. So I'm all in still on Puka Nacua being a wide receiver 1 and Davante Adams being a wide receiver 2. Kyle, I appreciate you, baby. All right, this says Dopp's team is 100% the best. That's exactly what I wanted to hear. I'm just a man of the people. I'm trying to draft the guys that I know you guys want me to draft. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been a ton of fun, like it is every single year. We cannot wait to be able to get into the season and be able to hang out with you guys. Come check us out on Fantasy Focus every single day, Monday through Friday, on the NFL on ESPN YouTube page. We love you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. And make sure that you continue to stick around. We got so much more good stuff coming up in the coming days. But thank you for being here, guys. And we'll definitely catch you next time.
SportsCenter Special Fantasy Football Draft is presented by ESPN Bet, the sportsbook for sports fans. And in part by Discover. It pays to discover. And Popeyes. Love that chicken from Popeyes.
Nearly 1.5 million fantasy teams have been drafted as the 2025 Fantasy Football Marathon comes to almost its conclusion. But over the past nearly 26 hours, we have had so much fun. Wanted to share some of that with you. Our 10th, that's right, 10th annual Fantasy Football Mock Draft.
The pick is in, Commissioner Yates.
Okay.
I need you to read that for me.
Just make your pick, man. Come on.
Jahmyr Gibbs, running back.
Give me that
jersey.
Give me that jersey.
Oh, I'm so mad at you right now.
I want to make sure that only one shirt comes off.
Tyler Fulghum doesn't have any effect on me. I'm looking at him as like a mark.
James Conner. You know what? Let me make your picks for you.
Who doesn't want a quarterback who's sitting in the Everglades with an alligator in his hands?
Whose pick is it? All right, what's up?
You know, it's always safe, Field. I've got a contingency plan. We'll just have to wait to see what it is.
Well, you're on the clock.
Oh, I am. Don't look at me.
One of them has many more red flags than the other. That's kind of a kink, but I am gonna like be a little bit smarter.
It's a different fantasy draft.
My stable of running backs is like, 29 and 30. I want a pass catching running back.
Whoa.
I'm going to qualify.
Is it time for another break?
Oh, man, we hope you all enjoyed it with just a couple minutes left here on the Fantasy Football Marathon. All right, I'm going to go down the line, see how many we can get through. Is there a player that you're saying to yourself, if I could, I'm leaving my fantasy draft with?
Bucky Irving.
Right there. Yep.
Cam Little.
And of course, being the Jaguars kicker who just drilled a 70-yard field goal.
Justin Jefferson. It's quarterback proof.
That's a good answer right there as well. Anita?
McConkey.
Lad McConkey, you got him tonight?
I did.
All right, so mission accomplished for you, Stephania.
Yeah, give me George Kittle, a value pick, but still a top-tier tight end.
Okay, George Kittle. There you have it, Mike.
Wait, what about you? Come on, you're in the line.
I got lots of answers. I'd love to with one of Trey McBride or Brock Bowers.
Okay, yeah, I like that. I would say one of the big 4 quarterbacks, but I want to go deeper than that. I'm going to go Matthew Golden. I got sniped tonight, but I want him on my team this year.
Yeah, for me, it's Cortland Sutton. Love the value, and there's obviously upside there with Knicks.
Almost got him tonight.
Yeah,
Almost.
Almost.
I really like Isaiah Pacheco as a value.
Ooh, good pick right there.
Got him.
No complaints there as an RB2 or 3.
I would have said Bowers, Trey McBride, but George Pickens, who I did end up with, I think he's good value at that area at wide receiver.
And I'm going to say Chase Brown. I absolutely love
that's your guy.
We know.
I'm all in on Chase this year.
All right, there you go. Good answer. Jamar Chase to Chase Brown. Tyler, excellent outfit all night, truly.
Thanks to this guy right here.
Half of it's mine.
Thank you.
Yeah, but the cleats. When will be the next time that you use those cleats?
Don't tell him where I bought them, but I'm going to send them back.
As we reach the final minute of our 2025 ESPN Fantasy Football Marathon, it is important to note that this does not get done without the support of what feels like a cast of thousands. There are so many people both in front of and behind the camera, especially those behind the camera, that help to make this happen. We have an amazing season on tap ahead of us here at ESPN Fantasy. But from all of us, huge thank you to everybody that helped make this possible. Anybody interested in playing in some leagues this year?
Let's do it.
Hey, we're not done yet. Back to work.
Back to work.
Go. Right back to it.
Okay. Do we have a new magazine coming out?
Many more drafts.
We told you nearly 1.5 million teams have been drafted. 1.46. I'm going to wait. 4 teams drafted and counting. Fantasy Football Now returns Sunday morning of Week 1. We'll see you all then. Thanks, everybody, for watching the 2025 ESPN Fantasy Football Marathon.